Boyke, oh no, and Boyke's crashed out, so Boyke will be out of Q1. He will obviously be in the race, but he will be out
Hi
of Q1.
everybody.
So he's in 15th at the moment, so he's going to be dropped.
Hi everybody, and good evening.
He can't improve on his time,
and welcome
others can
to
improve on
F1
theirs.
tonight.
So he's certainly provisionally 15th
Season 3 of 2017. And this evening
we've got
we
Alfred's
are
in the drop zone in the Force India now with a 123.9.
Singapore.
So
this is
well,
the night race, or one of the night races for this season.
Phenomenon.
And I'm very glad to say, I'm very happy to say that I have co-commentator this evening, who is Jota from Synergy PWR. Good evening, Jota.
As he's coming down the towards the Parabolica. As I said earlier, it's quite critical.
Indeed. I mean, it's I've been working with the guys all certainly been doing attempted
let's see what Fanon can do.
rounds
with
the guys on their practice sessions during the week, and we're just in with Stoner in the Haas now. He's going on his outlet, and some great
eights there, so that brings
expecting
some
12th
place.
Really
good,
close, hard racing this evening, as always.
Queue.
Just to run through while at the beginning here, just to run through the championship as it stands at the time, and also non-runs that we're going to have this evening. So, starting at the top, we have Bass F1, who's currently our drivers in the lead with first place, and he's on 194 points. In the Ferrari. Then we have Bo F1, his teammate in the Ferrari. He's currently second place with 169. Then we have Stoner for Haas in third place with 165. Then we have Gamble for McLaren. He's currently in fourth place with 120. Stoner's teammate John F1 is currently in fifth place. 92 points for Haas. Then we have Michael in sixth place, and Michael is again with Mercedes. We have Martin BMW in seventh place. He's with Toro Rosso. He's currently 77 points. Then we have Savage for McLaren. He's currently in eighth place. Slacky for Renault is in ninth. Slim Shamey for Williams is in Buddha for Renault is 11. Rim for Portma for Mercedes is 12. Rim for Red Bull is 13. Phenomenon for Sauber is currently 14. Peter F1 for Williams is currently 15. Zwoo for Red Bull is currently 16. High speed track. Boyke for Sauber is 18. Elfren for Force India, and Miguel F1 is the crucial one. So there we have our drivers. This evening we do have drivers who won't be competing, so we won't have Bo for Ferrari, we won't have Portma for Mercedes, we have Peter for Williams, Red Bull, Boyke for Sauber, and Elfren. So we are running with 14 drivers for that. However, we will still be doing Q1 just to give Parabolica a little bit of practice and get them into it, but all drivers will clearly go through that. So everyone's on their outlet, well not everyone, everyone's more or less out on track, about half the team. With regards to DRS zones, if you're not familiar with them, Stoner, so we have two DRS zones. So we have the DRS zone, which is effectively certainly looking good at this moment in time. See what he can actually do. Variant. And detection coming through the tunnel now, round the last set of bends, and then onto the straight with the DRS activation. Two DRS zones here. So first on the back, if it's the Galio, so that's after Lesmo and before you get to Ascari itself. Last is on the DRS point. You'll see quite a lot of action happening on those, I would suspect, during the course of the race. Now, oh, look at this! And Michael just going off track there. And that was that critical Variante. Yes, indeed, that's absolutely correct. You get to Lesmo's, he's just going around Lesmo now. Faffing about at the moment in the background here, trying to get
Lesmo 2 corners, so that one and this one here that we're just going round. We have the DRS activation zone, always the way, but still in the last sector there. Okay, we have the coming up to the Ascari.
A bit of a chaotic
spreading the eye of the needle. Chicane corners effectively there. Really taking it quite easy there, Michael. So let's run with somebody that's in the drop zone. So Portmer. Get through because it was not quickly jumping up. One that really needs to improve on this. He's on the back of the track. He's obviously taking it easy. With Elfrance now.
Shout out to Master
Parabolica. He's going to get
a great
lined up now.
Great run.
He's taking it easy. He's going into the pit. He's only got a couple of minutes.
Without any shadow of a doubt, it certainly will be. And obviously, we are running
get himself out of that drop zone
race as well.
Now
so by the time we've done the quali and get through, we should be done.
Starting his fast lap.
Around about 20 past 10, half 10
Parabolica.
UK time.
Building up the speed there. And Elfrance actually retired from the session. All hands with Miguel now. Needs to get that critical time, so Slacky's also retired from the session, so I'm not too sure if we're having some issues there, but let's see what happens.
There's only 4 points in it. Yeah, Bo's been out for a couple of races, so he's, as you quite rightly say, Stoner is only 4 points behind him in the Drivers' Championship at this moment in time, and Stoner for Haas has really been putting in some amazing races, certainly over the past 3 or 4 races. Really been doing very well indeed, and in fact last week actually came second at Monza, and that was a hell of a race as well. We had Bass for Ferrari who came in first, then we had Stoner in second, and Bo for Ferrari who came in third, so Stoner has certainly been in the mix. What also we will note is the McLarens as well, so both Gamble and Savage predominantly tend to do very well with regards to the qualifying, so we generally tend to see them up certainly in say row 2 or 3, so they're always up there at the start. John F1 as well for Haas, who's Stoner's teammate, hasn't been doing unfortunately too well over recent qualifications.
Miguel now coming round to finish his lap. See if he can improve on that time.
Certainly be in the mix in those first 3 rows.
Still on the drop zone, still on a 123.3. He's got a second chance. And he really needs to make this lap count now.
Putting in some proper
racing. He's got the potential to push potentially Slacky, because Slacky's retired from the session, so he's not going to be doing anything. Oh, and it looks like Miguel has quit out of that now. So yeah, Miguel has quit out of that lap. So it is a 123.3. He is in the drop zone, as is Boyke. So Miguel there, Boyke and Elfrance will be dropped from Q3 and go into Q2. But there we have it. Savage setting the fastest time with a 121.5. Now, as I said, not normally do we see the faster qualifying times.
Absolutely,
in Q1,
yeah. I mean, you quite rightly say there with regards to that. It's not an easy track to overtake on. There's some really tight corners, and it's quite a tight track as well. Certainly the start-finish straight with the DRS, but remember, turn 22 is quite tricky. So turn 22 is the last turn as they come into the start-finish straight. And with regards to that turn, you've really got to go hard in on the left and then sort of
the current, I believe, time trial championship.
So really the ultimate overtake point is between turn 4 and turn 6, I would say, or leading up to turn 7. But I've seen, you know, certainly some overtakes on.
So there we have it. Q1 is over,
turn 13,
and we'll be going with.
So yeah, it's certainly going to.
Run through those in just
it's certainly going to be. There are opportunities to overtake.
So here we are.
We will, as I said, see
This is the famous Autodromo Nazionale di Monza in Italy. So very, very high speed
always
track.
good, hard racing.
And we're with F1 tonight for season 3 of 2017, race 12. And all the drivers certainly looking forward to this race. This track isn't loved by all drivers because it is high speeds and quite a tricky track, because if you're looking to get the high speed down, you need to have that downforce slow, and there's some very, very tricky corners that you need to take care of. So we'll see what happens. We're just waiting for the other drivers now to come in. Everybody moving on to the next session. So while we're here with the championship this moment in time, top 5 drivers. First place is Bass for Ferrari, second place is Bow, third place is Stoner for Haas, Gamble for McLaren's 4, and John for Haas is in 5th. So at this moment in time in the top 5, we've got both the Ferrari drivers and the Haas drivers. But very, very close.
Sorry, Jota, apologies for that, mate. I left you a little bit hanging there, but we seem to be having a bit of a technical issue with regards to our feed at this moment in
still in there with Michael.
So bear with me 1 second while I try and
undoubtedly the team champions at this moment in time are Ferrari. So here we are now.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Solved. I think we had something else running in the background there, which should now be resolved. Okay, we are now cooking on gas. Okay, so one there, as I say, just to get the guys running. Obviously, not everyone has run. We've still got to run, so I think most of the drivers will probably be retiring out of that session. So then we can move forward to Q2. Apologies for a slight disorganisation there, but get into the flow of things. But yeah, absolutely right, John, as you were saying there, you know, those are certainly the optimum points for overtaking, and it's going to be very, very interesting. As I say, I would expect some overtake moves to be attempted in areas that you wouldn't necessarily always consider, and that's certainly going to mix it up. Certainly the likes of the McLaren drivers are always very keen and to do overtakes, and in not always wise, but certainly willing to go on to the marbles on the outside of the racing line. So that always interesting indeed with regards to these races. And as we currently said, a lot of turns here, a lot of corners, a lot of what I would say, well, I call them chicane corners, but opposing corners. So you get a lot of combinations of left, right, right, left in this track as well, which really does make it not very easy, and you've got to ensure that you're on the right racing line. And even then, if you ride some of the curbs, very easy to go into these barriers, because again, remember, this is a street race, so there is very close racing to the barriers as with any other street race, and all it takes is a few millimeters of misjudgment and suddenly you're into those barriers and you've got a front wheel hanging off. Yep, indeed. Again, it's been to apologise, but seem to have you all
no problem.
a bit of a techie hitch.
A bit of a techie hitch, isn't it?
Well, all I can say is I've counted them. We've had 3 tech hitches, and we're done and dusted now.
Oh, cracking.
So, joining us this evening, here we are with F1 Tonight, and this is Season 3, Singapore. Last week we were in Monza, and an amazing race that was indeed. We saw our current driver champion take first place at Monza. We saw Stoner in the Haas take second, and Bo for Ferrari take third. Bo isn't racing with us this evening, nor is Portma for Mercedes, Peter for Williams, Zwoof for Red Bull, Boyke for Sauber, and Elfrans for Force India. So we are running with 14 drivers this evening. We have been joined by the fantastic, the wonderful Jota, who's currently GPWR, who I am honoured to also be co-commentating with Jota on that one, and I've invited him along to co-commentate with myself for the F1 Tonight League, and we're going into Q2 now with our 14 riders. We've just been discussing obviously the track. Unfortunately, you didn't hear Jota's comments there, but he was clearly showing good understanding of this track and its difficulties. So Jota, for the sake of repetition, would you mind just going over that, because I think that was really interesting what you were saying about the track while we watched the guys go out.
Yes, absolutely. First of all, good evening to everyone watching here on F1 Tonight. I'm glad to be with you, and hopefully we're going to have a fantastic race here in Singapore. One thing I was very, very keen on was the strategy here, because I think with the closeness and the tight knit of the track, 23 turns, making up a very, very long track, and strategy is obviously a big part to play, especially in a country and in a place where rain is quite plausible, especially sharp showers. To take an example of one league race I did, where unfortunately we shower that was going to cause us to go to intermediates to possibly wet tyres, and I think thankfully for me I ended up getting knocked out of Q2, so I started on the hardest compounded tyre possible on this track, which is soft tyres, and in the end I did one less pit stop than everyone else, and I actually won the race. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the drivers deal with the Q2 tyre choice if they get through to Q3, and if they don't, how they're going to be able to get ahead in the game if there is this possibility of wet weather.
Indeed, and it's absolutely spot on, would you say, regards that. And again, just as a point of interest, we literally have no idea what the potential weather elements would be on this race. So we have no control over the weather setup. So nobody on this track at this moment in time, nor myself or Jota, knows what could be potentially round the corner with regards to weather. It'll be, I'd like to say, certainly for the drivers, remain dry, but
well, for the sake of the
spectators, I think a bit of rain would be absolutely phenomenal, and would certainly mix it up and make it an even more interesting race.
No, for sure. I'm really looking forward to how the race is going to pan out, and if there is a bit of rain, how these drivers are going to be able to deal with it. I think, like I said, this track is very, very difficult to overtake on. I think, as we were discussing, the best chance of any kind of overtaking is on DRS straights between turns 4 and 7. And I see a little bit of rain falling as we were talking right now.
Oh, this is going to, well, if it's going to rain in qualifying, that's certainly going to mix it up, that's for sure. Let's have a quick look on here. So we're just following drivers round at this moment in time. Nobody actually has yet set time. I'm just trying to see who's the closest to the...
It'll be US Savage, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, here we go. Stoner, I think, is coming through as well. So
Stoner. Okay.
So Stoner's just coming round turn 21 into 22. 22 leading into 23, so hopefully he should be setting a time. Yes, Stoner sets a 139.9. And just have a quick check on his tyres, and he's running on the Ultra Softs. So Buddha for Renault has just set a 141.2, and he's actually running on the Super Softs.
One thing worth mentioning, obviously the track temperatures is obviously going to fall, so these drivers are really going to have to set a lap now if they want to maximise the opportunity to get the ultra soft tyres. Baz F1 tonight, and the Ferrari coming across on the super soft tyres doing a 144.2, looking like an absolutely cracking set of times considering the conditions are deteriorating pretty quickly.
They are indeed. They are indeed. We'll see what they're on the super softs. Bass is going to be disappointed with that 144. We have Vicky there for Force India.
Oh, Phenomenon's going really wide.
Oh no! Oh, Savage!
What a smash!
Into the barrier there. Oh,
Grim's out.
That is nasty.
Grim taking out 158.5. It was present time at the moment, so he clearly was struggling on the ultra softs, but he's out of Q2.
So Savage is out. Grim is out. Sorry, Savage is in, Grim is out. That's who I was watching, is Grim there in the Red Bull. Savage set a 140.6. Where are we? Yep. Session there. Still coming down, or is it eased off again?
No, the rain's very light.
Yeah, it's very light.
The rain's very light. It's definitely still.
It seems to be lighter towards the back of the track and heavier towards the.
Phenomenon's also crashed out as well in the Sauber. His tyres fallen off coming out of turn number 5. So we've got 2 people out.
Wow.
So obviously it's pretty clear. Sorry, mate.
That was the commentator's curse coming in there. We were talking about the rain and how it could mix up, and almost as soon as we were saying it, it started to rain.
It started. This is the horrible nature of this track. It's a fantastic track, really long, really tight. Maybe a lack of overtakes, but I tell you, the strategy is absolutely fantastic for this track because you can clearly see. I'm watching Slim at the moment on the ultra soft tyres in the Williams. He's clearly struggling at the moment as Stoner has crashed out. Oh no, never mind. Apologies, he's going to the pits. Yeah. Slim currently in the Williams. I'll quickly shift over. Slim at the moment is hasn't set a time at the moment, so he's going to be really struggling on those sets of ultra softs. One thing to make clear is that the slow deterioration of this track means those ultra softs are eventually going to become less and less effective. So if he doesn't set a good enough time, he needs to set at least a 143.9. He's not going to be able to get through.
Indeed. And, both Martin and Slim are currently in the drop zone, and as Jota pointed out there, the marker is Martin, who set a 143.9.
No, he's not going to do it.
Currently in 10th place.
45.6. He's struggling.
45.6, but I really think he's going to struggle to try and get that 143. That 143 was set earlier on in the session by Martin. And with these ultra softs, really isn't very easy for them at all. We've got Miguel now coming round, turns 19, 20, and he's going into the pits. He's not even going to bother trying to set a time on those. I think he's going to be changing on to a different set, possibly super softs. We've got Slim now coming round.
Yeah, I don't mean to be the pessimist here, but unfortunately I think the drivers who want to get on a new set of dry tyres are going to really struggle to be able to get to that 143.9 borderline, and if they do, Martin's going to be very unlucky to not get through to Q3, that's for sure.
certainly not going to be easy. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Oh, Slim's lost it.
Oh,
he's out.
Straight into the barrier there. So Slim's lost it.
Yeah, a bit of a spin.
He's definitely going to be out. So rather unfortunate there. So we've seen a number of drivers come out due to these conditions, and I was only talking earlier about the virtue of this being a street track and the barriers. There's nowhere to go. So ultimately, at the end of the day, if you lose it, you're going to end up in a barrier.
I think one thing I also want to mention as well for sure is that obviously we're going through to Q3 with these weather conditions. You see the rain is falling, but it's not, based on what I'm seeing so far anyway in the pit lane, the conditions don't really warrant intermediate tyres. So I'm going to be very curious to see in the next 5 minutes as we go through to Q3 what condition the track's going to be in and whether it's going to be just dries or whether it is going to be inters, because if we are on that border, it's going to be very interesting to see what the drivers decide to go out on.
Well, I think it's going to be, it's really not going to be easy. If it continues like this, I think the chance, because it doesn't seem as if it's abating at all. If anything, it seems as if it's getting that little bit stronger. We haven't got anybody out on track at this moment in time, so it's not always easy to judge. But it certainly looks that way at this moment in time. So we've only got so 4 minutes, but I suspect that the drivers are likely to retire from the session, so we can actually push forward. Yes, indeed. So Q2, unfortunately, we've lost Miguel F1 for Toro Rosso, Slim Shamey for Williams, Grim F1 for Red Bull, and Phenomenon for Sauber. Didn't set a time there. So those are the drivers that are out. That leaves in Martin BMW for Toro Rosso, Bass for Ferrari, Nicky for Force India, Michael for Mercedes, Gamble for McLaren, John for Haas, Buddha for Renault, Savage for McLaren, Slacky for Renault, and Stoner for Haas.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how Stoner does, to be honest with you. Obviously, with him getting the opportunity to take second place in the table today, he's going to be wanting to make sure he gets a cracking time. Oh, look at the weather.
Look at this. This is chucking it down. I think the call on intermediates is null and void. I think we're looking at full wets on this one.
We could be looking at full wets based on what we see. Let's see what the teams decide to take him out on. We've got Mikael leaving in the Mercedes garage.
It's Michael, yeah.
He's on full wets.
He is on full wets. He's first. No, actually, tell a lie. It looks like I think it's Gamble. No, it must be. Where are we? Gamble was going out ahead of Martin, Michael, Slacky, Buddha, Stoner, Gamble. Oh, Savage. God, who's the only one I wasn't looking at? Right, so Savage is currently there, but it looks like one of the Renaults is ahead of him.
Yeah, I think the Renault that's deep out in front at the moment is Buddha F1 tonight.
Yeah, so Buddha should be the first one to set a time. And I know during practice we've been looking at the best time we saw on practice was around about a 1:36 or a 1:35 this week. So
you're not going to be seeing those times on full wets.
Exactly. We're probably, I would suspect, on full wets, we're probably going to be looking somewhere around the 1:55s. Possibly.
Nah, well, we're going to be looking possibly into the 2 minutes. I think if you're struggling, well, based on what I've had an experience anyway, 1:57 to 2:01, I think is around about the normal time I've seen anyway. But depends on the track quality. These drivers might be feeling a little bit different.
Yeah. And
but remember as well, their setups are obviously going to be different as well. Remember, Woods obviously the Parc Fermé rules as well.
At the end of the day, you know, do you change your setup for the qualification, not knowing whether this is going to stick for the race or not? Because you could change your setup to suit the rain and the qualification, but then when it comes to the race, you've got a dry race. That is really going to hinder you.
Well, we could have a wet race as well. We don't know. Obviously, we don't have the weather forecast here at F1 tonight. So obviously, if we can get a bit of an upgrade, guys, help. We might be able to do that one for sure.
I think it would.
He starts his lap now.
Make it interesting. So Buddha's now starting his lap. So as he comes into turns 1 and 2. It's DRS detection points. Comes round turn 5 now. Obviously no DRS at this moment in time because we are running on the wets. Leading down, and this is where it gets tricky. We've got the sharp left-hander of turn 7 into, then a sharp right-hander of 8, then another sharp right-hander left into 9. So quite a tricky set of turns there. Very, very easy to misjudge going to the barrier, and with the wet weather conditions as well, that certainly isn't going to help at all.
Keeping a firm eye on Stoner as well in the Haas Ferrari. He's short shifting quite heavily through the middle part of this track. No surprise there, but he's doing pretty well.
Just round there, as I said, those are tricky turns there. Coming round the back of the track now, turn 10, 11. Go round the bridge here, 11 and 12. Cummins round now. Just a little bit ahead of there, 19. So he's coming into the start-finish straight. As soon as he gets through these, see what he does. So he's done a 2 minutes. 2 minutes dead. 2 minutes .8.
Martin there, 2 minutes 4. Cracking time.
In the Toro Rosso, 2 minutes .4.
Oh, cracking time from Savage.
1:57.9 in the McLaren there. Got Slacky in the Renault, 1:58. Stoner just set to 1:58.1 as well.
Baz coming across now, here he goes.
2 minutes for Bass. He's not going to be happy with that, but
Campbell.
Bass is not a lover of the wet conditions. John normally isn't too bad in the Haas, so it'll be interesting to see how John does as he comes across the line.
Cracking time from UF Gamble. Let's take pole position at the moment with 1:57.7, beating his teammate UF Savage by 2/10 in these conditions. Cracking time from him.
These guys, both Savage and Gamble, really are hard racers, and they'll be glad to have set those times, but they are very close teammates when it comes to times.
I do believe that. No, I do believe I've raced with them in Hopper lobbies before. Actually, I recognise their gamer tags. Really nice guys overall as well, and cracking racers. So it's great to see them again racing properly.
Yeah, they do make a good team. As I say, they are what I would call the risk takers. It doesn't always pay off, unfortunately.
Certainly paying off here.
It certainly is here this evening. So everyone set a time. Got 5 minutes to go on the queue. So the question is, can anyone better those times?
It's going to be tricky, but Stoner is on a flyer at the moment.
Savage is coming into the pits.
Yeah, Stoner's in the pits as well.
Gamble, I think, will also be coming into the pits. Stoner's in. Slacky's in. So, I think we could be seeing. See, the question is now is, you know, are these guys going to look to alter their setup to improve their times? I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, what do you do? I mean, are we looking at increasing downforce? But surely they've got to be...
Nicky taking over as well on 4th place with a 1:58.7 cracking time from him in the Force India. To answer your question though, with the adjustment, obviously Parc Fermé means that they can't do a lot of adjustments to their car. I think the only thing I'd do for sure is put more fuel in the car, make the car a bit heavier, and just go around and see how fast you can go, really. Keep it in max fuel mode.
Yeah, because obviously with that extra fuel weight, it helps the car to sit a little bit firmer on the road itself.
You mentioned Gamble and Savage are very good at taking risks. Doesn't always pay off. Reckon they're going to dries.
It's starting to ease off. I don't know if we're looking really at whether that would or not, to be quite honest.
No, definitely not monsoon conditions out there. Definitely not monsoon.
Still, it's, yeah, I mean, 5 minutes to go. Even in the wets, we can see them sliding.
Yeah, they're struggling out there on the wets as well. So it's obviously borderline, absolutely atrocious conditions for these drivers at the moment. So to get 157s,
that interesting call, because we were actually commentating yesterday evening for Synergy PWR, and that was an interesting race. We were in Austria, and it started to rain towards, well, what, the last 6-10 laps maybe?
Well, it was the last 10 laps, and then obviously we got to the
last 10 laps,
sort of 6 laps to go, and we were on that borderline between dries and wets.
Exactly. And interestingly enough, both the lead cars came in. We were suspecting that they would go, well, I was suspecting they would go down, gone to the meets, and they went on to super softs, but ultimately it cost both drivers.
Yeah, for sure. The unfortunate circumstance for You Want Some Lamb, shout out to him in Synergy PWR, losing out on the win by only 2 corners. So absolutely gutting for him, but made out for a fantastic race overall.
It was a great race to watch and a great race to commentate, but I felt for those drivers, and this is where you know, strategy does come in, and it's so important to make the right call on tyres, because it can cost you dearly. Even with a substantial lead, it can still cost you.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at UF Gamble at the moment, and the McLaren. He's on his outlap at the moment. I've just noted that he is in rich fuel mix. He's decided not to go on max, so he's clearly thinking, if I go into max, how much will my car skid, basically? How much will his car take a lot of wheel spin because of the aquaplaning track? So he's obviously thinking ahead, but he's doing pretty well at the moment to maintain his car through the outlap, but you can quite clearly see, even with rich fuel mix, his back end is stepping out a lot.
Well,
so,
they tend to run, you tend to find Gamble and Savage, the main difference they have is Gamble tends to run with a lot less downforce. So Savage tends to run with a higher downforce, Gamble tends to run with a lower downforce, and you can see it in the nature of the car. It tends to have a lot of back end swing into the corners.
Yeah, you can see that in working as well with the Savage at the moment. He's got he's in max fuel mix at the moment, so he is using his party mode piece on the engine and currently blasting along absolutely no problem as yellows are waved in sector 1.
Hey, what's happening here? We do actually have
like
Michael. He's coming out on the intermediates, and he's crashed out. I think that's what
he's retired,
was in sector 1.
Nah, he's retired. I think he's retired out of the session, so I don't think he. I think he knows he can't get any faster.
Yeah.
So
1:57, but still blinding time there, as you said. Obviously, I was expecting the guys to.
Yeah, the rain is easing. You say, sorry to interrupt. I've just said Michael said there's an intermediate. I am looking at the weather now. It is settling up a little bit actually. So he might have. Whoa! There goes Oh, Savage just crashing out, loses his front wing.
Oh yes, indeed. It's that one there. Stoner's retired as well.
Stoner thinks he can't get any faster. He's had enough. In the last 10 seconds, Q3 anyway.
Gamble's just sliding round there.
Okay, that's Q3 over. So let's see what these guys do.
Well, this has certainly mixed it up here. Bass, our current driver's leader, is back in 8th place. He is going to be sorely disappointed with that.
Safe to say, Savage has got absolutely no chance. Oh, there goes Bass. Oh, keeping out of the wall though. Cracking save from him. Safe to say with Savage though, losing that back end and then the front wing being disappeared, his teammate Gamble should be happy that Savage isn't going to be taking pole position today. Only a couple of drivers that potentially could take it. Slacky in the Renault's coming round to finish his lap, and Martin in the Toro Rosso.
Indeed, and I'm just watching Slacky. I'm just trying to see where they are on track. I think Slacky's ahead. Let's ride with Slacky. Yes, indeed, as he comes round now.
2:15.
Doesn't better his time. Martin is coming round. Yep. So he's coming round to turn 13.
Oh, he's going massively wide, struggling here.
Definitely struggling. I don't think he's going to beat a 150.
I'd be honest with you. I don't think it's wet tyre conditions anymore. I don't think it's wet tyre conditions anymore. I think Michael made a very good call to going on to those intermediates. I don't know what happened. Did he crash in sector 1 or did he just retire?
I think it was, but tend to have the cars cleared up very, very quickly indeed. Don't tend to
either way, the intermediates was a very good call because it's quite clearly intermediate conditions out there now. Definitely. So the people on the wets are really struggling to keep those tyres cool.
Look at that as Martin's coming round there. That was not pleasant as he was coming around turn 19.
Nah, he's going to be well into the 2 minutes, Martin.
I think he's going to go straight into pits. Yeah, that's it. Abandoned that. So there we have it. I think that is pretty much where we are at this moment in time. So the McLaren drivers take first and second. So front row is locked out by McLaren. Stoner in the Haas in the second row. He'll be behind Gamble. Then we have Michael in the Mercedes. He'll be in the second row alongside Stoner. Then we have Nicky in the Force India. He'll be in 5th. Alongside him is Slacky in the Renault. Then behind them we have Martin BMW in the Toro Rosso. Alongside him will be Bass F1. And then behind them will be Buddha in 9th place for Renault, and John F1 for Haas will be alongside him in 10th. This is really going to be very, very interesting indeed to see how this pans out, and indeed whether the wet conditions do maintain themselves for the actual race itself. I think not. I think we could be looking at a dry race, but there we have it. McLaren lock out the first row. Haas, Mercedes second, Force India, Renault third row, Toro Rosso and Ferrari and Renault and Haas will be in the 5th row. That's our top 10 drivers. We'll run through our 14 drivers as soon as we come through and come up to the first So, good evening everybody and welcome to F1 Tonight 2017 Season 3 Singapore. And if you haven't been watching the qualifying, then it has been very, very interesting indeed. We had wet conditions during qualifying, but it looks as if we got a dry race so far, certainly for the start this evening. What has that meant? Well, it meant that McLaren locked out the front row, so they will be taking first and second place, and our current drivers champion Bass is all the way back in the 4th row. in 8th position. We then have Buddha. Oh, why have I got no sound? Jota, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello. Sorry, your microphone seemed to have cut out there.
That's
How you
right.
doing?
That's okay. I've got the sound back now. I was wondering why I didn't have any sound there. Okay, so Gamble and Savage have locked out the front row for McLaren. We have Stoner for Haas in 3rd place. Michael for Mercedes is in 4th. Nicky for Force India is 5th. Slacky for Renault is 6th. Martin BMW for Toro Rosso 7. Bass, as I said, back in the 4th row there for Ferrari. Buddha is in the 5th row. Alongside him is John in the Haas. We then have in Miguel F1 in the Toro Rosso in 11th place. Slim Shamy in the Williams in 12th. Grim for Red Bull is 13, and Phenomenon for Sauber is 14. So certainly is going to be very interesting start to this race indeed. And I would suspect that we're going to see some very serious strategy coming into play here. So that's definitely going to be interesting. On the tyre side, well, we've got Gamble, Savage and Stoner, so the front 3 will be running on Ultra Softs. Michael in the Mercedes has decided to opt for the Super Soft, so he's going to be looking for a longer stint, as is Bass, unsurprisingly, in 8th. Buddha alongside him in the Renault also opted for the Super Softs. John F1 in the Haas has also gone for the Super Softs. But Slim Shamy in the Williams in 12th place on the grid, as they're doing their formation lap now round, and they'll be coming up to the start finish pretty soon. Slim has decided to go for the soft, so he's definitely looking to get in a longer stint, which hopefully should push him up during the course of the race.
Yeah, an intriguing strategy call there from Slim, definitely. I think the only time I've seen that happen is that if there's a wet end to the race. So it'd be interesting to see what happens weather-wise at this very weather-prone track here at the Marina Bay.
Indeed, we could certainly see rain again. So as the drivers are now forming up, Phenomenon now coming into the back, getting into his grid slot. Okay, all drivers are in. Lights are on. 5, and they are off for Singapore F1 tonight, season 3, 2017.
Oh, fantastic start from Savage.
Oh, look at this. Savage moves into first place. Oh, and Gamble has a little knock there with the Mercedes of Michael. The Haas just behind them. There comes Anganiki in the Force India, followed by Slacky in the Renault.
Oh, Buddha's right at the back. He's spun going into turn 1. Oh, look at Buddha, he's down. Buddha
drops to 14th place as he slides around.
Stoner looking for a good overtake.
In the lead there. So great move there from Savage. Certainly taking full advantage. Very close between these two. Oh, and he could see Savage just... This is very close indeed as they come round. Turn 13.
I'm saying you can see the significant difference in...
pushing.
You can see the significant difference in tyre quality for sure. The ultra soft tyre and the super soft tyre. You see the difference in speed. Stoner right on the gearbox of Michael at the moment. Stoner, like I said, wants to capitalise on the fact that Bo isn't here today. So good opportunity for him to get into second in the table.
Bass has already moved up to 5th place on those super softs. So he's made the move on Slim on the Williams as they're coming round. So
Nicky's out. Nicky's spun. Nicky is...
So Nicky drops back as well. I think he is out.
He's got front wing damage.
He's on. He's okay.
He's got front wing damage as well, so he must have locked up going into that turn.
So Bass has moved up already into 5th place.
Slacky in the pits.
So he'll be happy for that. Michael is his next target. 2.7 seconds away from him. Michael's only 3 tenths
Surely
off the back end of Stoner here as they're coming almost alongside one another. You can see Bass coming in the background there. Gap has opened up a little bit between Savage and Gamble. That's currently just 1.5 seconds. We'll stay with Michael and Stoner.
Absolutely no surprise from Martin, who's had to go into the pits. He's on a set of softs.
Stoner made the move on Michael. Michael's now looking to play catch-up with as they come round turn 13. Stoner now looking to close down that gap to Gamble, but Bass is just under 3 seconds behind Michael in the Mercedes, so he'll be coming up behind him very soon, probably within the next couple of laps. Both Michael and Bass on the Super Softs. Slim Shamey is in 6th. Those softs,
gained 6 positions. Gained 6 positions on the softs. Yeah, gained 6 positions on the softs, and he hasn't pitted yet. So this guy's going to be very happy with the results so far. 6th place, 6 positions gained on a set of softs. So it's going to be a long stint for him.
Gained. Miguel 4, Rim's moved up 5. Phenomenon 4, the losers: Slacky, Martin, John, and Nicky. So they're not going to be very happy with themselves on that one. So Miguel is now starting to close in on Slim in the Williams. Miguel is running on the Ultra Soft, so he will have the advantage.
Stoner gaining much time on Gamble in 2nd place at the moment.
He's already got it down to 1.5 seconds.
Wow.
So he's taken 1.5 seconds out in about a lap, I think.
Cracking speed from him.
That's still only 2 seconds behind. He can't seem to close down on that Mercedes. Miguel, that gap has now opened up. Let's ride with Stoner. Stoner is certainly closing in on those McLarens now. This really has mixed it up.
I'm going to have to talk to Stoner at some point about what setup he's using, because that setup is absolutely amazing. He's got so much rear downforce at the moment. That car is planted on the track. But in a track like this, he's going to be rapid. Cracking job from him.
It's great. 3-second time penalty there for Nicky in the Force India. So, exceeding track limits, not very easy to do on this track, it has to be said. Look at this. But let's see what he does now as they come into the DRS point. And look at that, as you say, it's just sticking.
Rear end sticking out just a little bit
there as you come out of turn 20. So
for some reason, Phenomenon is really slow. Something's not right with him, but he's currently only going 70.
Well, Phenomenon runs with all assists off. So on this track, although that said, he has been setting some good times. I think 1:42 was his better time during practice during the week.
Not too sure what's wrong at the moment, but he's clearly not at full speed. He's struggling around this track. I don't know what the situation is for Phenomenon, but he's very slow.
Bass, because Bass now has closed down that gap to Michael in the Mercedes. Between 8 and 9 tenths behind him now. So this is going to be interesting. Both Bass and Michael running on the Super Soft, so they are equal with regards to that. Just coming around 16.
Stoner's really closing that gap. It's less than a second.
Stoner's closing in on the McLarens as well now. Bass got it down to half a second now to the Mercedes. Stoner's. Let's go. Who do I watch? Just stay with Bass.
Gonna call it here now, Woods.
Now into turn 18.
Gonna call it here now. Baz is going to go for the overtake through turns 4 through 7. Yep. Like we said earlier, it's going to be happening.
It is. He's got the DRS. Remember, as he comes out of turn 23, he'll be hitting the DRS point. Oh, yep, DRS open. Now, this is the opportunity.
Needs a really good exit out of 3.
He's pretty good out of 3 and certainly into turn 5 as well.
He's got it. He's going for it. He is so going for it in this DRS.
I think on turn 5.
That's cracking exit from Michael, but he's not going to be able to hold that DRS for sure. Baz is going for it. Here he goes.
Here we go now as they come round 6. They're coming down to that hard left and 7, but Michael's got the advantage. He's on the inside. So he does take that advantage. Into turn 9. He's just looking to he's trying to find that gap. He's looking to get that gap, but Michael's closing the door nicely on him there, not giving him the opportunity.
Say the one issue here around the middle part of this track is going to be dirty air. He's going to be really struggling through these tight-knit corners, and there might be some potential for understeer.
So they're coming up to turn 13. Now this can be very tricky, but beautifully done there by both drivers. And Bass is just, you can just see him, he's just sort of edging left to right, looking for the opportunity to make that break if he can. They're coming around turn 14 now to 15. Around this back chicane now before they do a hard left under the bridge.
It's a 3-way battle for 6 at the moment, isn't it? Between Slim Shady, Michael and Grim.
Yeah, well, Michael's been closing in on Slim, but then he opened up the gap again. But he's certainly going to be looking to make the move soon. And Bass is only 2 tenths now behind Michael as they come into the DRS.
They need a good exit out of turn 3, but one person who has had a good exit out of turn 3 is Stoner. For Stoner, he's got a great exit coming through turn 4. Here he goes.
He's making the move. Can he make it stick? Yeah, side by side. Oh, and they touch wheels there. Touch wheels as they turn around.
Baz is going for it as well.
7 or 8 into 8.
Here comes Baz on the outside.
Baz making the move now.
Has he got him on the outside?
Cracking
driving. He's got the inside.
All he can, because he's now got into turn 8. He's got the advantage in turn 8. Lovely job there. Can he make it stick as they go into 9? Well done there. Good job.
Driving.
So Bass takes the place from Michael. He moves up into 4th place. Stoner takes the place from Gamble, moving up into 2nd place as he comes around turn 13 now. So Gamble is 3 seconds behind, so he's clearly lost some time there. Bass has got some time to make up. He's got about 8 seconds before he closes down on Gamble in 3rd place. But lovely job from Stoner and Bass there. Waiting, biding their time, waiting for the right opportunity and make the move.
Well, worth mentioning, it's now a 4-way battle for 6th place at the moment, as even Buddha in the Renault has also slowed the gap down as well. So there's only about 2 seconds between 6th and 9th. Brilliant driving.
A lot of midfield. This tends to be quite common with the F1 Tonight League. We see a lot of midfield action and very close action. Generally
Slim's
between
going to have to defend
sort of,
for his
5th
life.
and 10th.
He's got to defend for his life. He's on a set of soft tyres, and all the rest are on ultra soft tyres, except Bud, who's on a set of supers. Either way, they're on a softer compound.
Well,
Gamble in the pits.
Slim, it's his to lose. He's got 3 drivers behind. He's coming into the pits, so Slim.
Gamble on another
Let's
set of
Miguel
ultra
go
softs.
past. We've also got Gamble in the pits, so Gamble's come in and gone onto the ultra softs.
He's going ultra aggressive.
Yeah. So Gamble will be coming out in 8th place.
Slim hates the softs. He's on some sets of ultras.
Nearly hitting the barrier there as they come round turn 3. Closing down on Grim, but Grim's also starting to close down on Miguel in a Toro Rosso. So these 3 drivers, very little in it now. Gamble's already closing in on Slacky in the Renault. So Gamble did actually come out in 9th place. So he's closing down on the Renault Slacky now.
And Gamble had a bit of an opportunity to use DRS, but chose not to open it.
Yeah. Ooh. He's 6 tenths in it at this moment in time. Ash not able to close down that gap.
11 seconds to Stoner. Obviously he took the place from Gamble as Gamble came into pit. So Gamble's certainly applying pressure to Slacky in the Renault here. Slacky is holding his own.
Just keeping a close eye on the battle
back of the track now.
Keeping a close eye on the battle for 5th position.
Rim, Buddha, these guys, nothing in it still. They're closing in on Miguel now. They're coming to start-finish straight. Rim is certainly going to be...
Oh, Miguel's gone wide.
Miguel goes offline there.
That's it. It's gone. It's gone, surely.
That's it.
Oh, he closes him off.
A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there from Grim. But Grim takes the place. So Miguel didn't have a clean exit as he was coming out of turn 1, just misjudged it. Gave Grim the opportunity to take the place. But now he's got Renault driver Buddha closing in behind him as well. Now, no Miguel in the Toro Rosso. He's a hard fighter.
Wonder if Miguel's got. I mean, he's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I'm wondering if he got any kind of damage, even just some end plate damage from that little coming together.
Any front wing damage.
For sure, Grim was really pushing him into the wall, though.
Oh, big time, big time. He wanted that place back for him. So they clean round 13 now. So nice stretch to open up speed as they're coming into the sector 3. I think, is it sector 3 or not yet? No, sector 3 they're approaching.
Close battle here between Slacky and UF Gamble. Still only 4 tenths separating the two of them, and it looks like he's going to get a nice run on DRS. We'll have to see.
Well, they're coming around the back of the track now. They're just about to go under the bridge before they take the last 3 turns into the start-finish straight. And there's only 0.3 of a second. I would expect Gamble to look to make that move as we know the opportune moment. Turns 1 and 3. If you can't make it,
it's terrible through 23.
Turns 4 and 5. And Gamble just set the fastest provisional time, 1:44.6.
But Slacky swiftly got the purple lap just before then, so these two are the fastest people on track.
Well, Slacky certainly isn't going to give the place away easily.
Oh, it's a cracking exit from Gamble.
Now. This is going to be interesting. Still not close enough yet. But he's on that gearbox of Slacky. He's not going to let up.
For 11th.
Yep, we've got John in the Haas closing in on Martin for 11th place.
Oh, bit of a tap on the wall.
And we've got Nicky just behind him as well. So both these drivers, both John and Nicky,
got an overtake coming.
Drivers. Here we go, as he makes the move. Can he make it stick as they gain 7?
Nah, good defending from Martin.
No, he defends it well, but Nicky's taken an opportunity, and Nicky nearly moves up there and takes the place from John. So, very, very close, these guys now. But Martin is defending beautifully. It's all happening this evening. We've got Buddha closing in on Miguel as well. So Buddha's only 0.3, 0.5, 0.3 off the back of Miguel there.
Remember, both Buddha and Miguel
John
haven't actually stopped yet. Oh, Buddha's lost it. Oh, good save.
Oh dear. Missed that because we were flipping back, so Buddha lost that. He's lost time. He's still 0.8 behind. Slacky's now closing in on his teammate. He's 0.8 behind him. Gamble's eased off a little bit. He's now 1.2 seconds behind Slacky, but Slacky is now rapidly approaching his teammate Buddha in 7th place, who's looking to make the move on Miguel in the Toro Rosso in 6th place. So this midfield battle, as always, is intense.
Here comes an overtake. Turn 1 between John and Nicky, F1 tonight.
Oh, does he make it stick? Yes, he does. So John takes the place from Nicky as they're coming into out turn 2, I think, was in.
Nah, John managed to defend off the position. Nicky managed to just be squeezed off out of the position heading into turn 1.
Oh,
Worth
sorry.
mentioning, both Martin and John are on soft compound tyres. Nicky on ultra soft, and here he comes again.
Here he comes again. But John's got the advantage into this turn, I think. Oh no, and Nicky gets it. Yes, he does. He makes the move in turn 7. Nice job there. Great job.
Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's out.
And John loses it. And he crashes out. No. Oh my God, he was just pushing that a bit too much. So, John in the Haas, our first DNF. So, are we going to see the safety car come out?
Well, the car's definitely parked in a dangerous location, but it doesn't look like the safety car's coming out anytime soon.
Oh, dearie me! And we just seen, I think it was Savage. Savage sees John as he's coming around the corner, crashes into the barrier. Was it Savage or was it Gamble?
Well, Savage has got no front wing, so I assume it's him.
Yeah, it was Savage. It was Savage, yeah. He lost it on that corner. He was coming around, saw John, crashed into the barrier, managed to straighten it out.
Talking of his teammate, he was going in for
the opportunity to close down.
Oh, his teammate, though, Gamble, is on a battle at the moment to try and get himself up the field. He's down 8 positions after swapping onto those ultra-soft tyres, and he's trying to get around Buddha. But this track, notorious for little overtakes. It's tricky.
Well, Slacky's certainly taking the place of Buddha due to that mistake that Buddha made, and also Miguel, so they moved ahead.
Oh,
and Gamble, oh no!
Gotta give the position.
Oh, doesn't make it stick.
No, he has to give the position back for that. He exceeded the track limits to try and overtake Buddha there, so thankfully he did slow down and give Buddha back the 8th position.
Back the place as they're coming to 13. Yeah, they were coming around the back there. Wow. Well, this is definitely a race to remember.
So the 12 laps gone. We're on our 12th lap at the moment of 61. So much action-packed stuff happening here on F1 tonight. The Savage is in the pits.
The Savage comes into the pits now. What's he going to do?
Well, he's on a set of ultra softs, so he's going on another
softs. So Savage now dropping down. Yeah, he'll be dropping down to 9th place.
Oh, it's absolutely gutting
so
from the
he'll be behind
US
his teammate Gamble. Gamble closing down on Buddha now, only 0.4 of a second to the Renault driver, and then Buddha's only 0.4 to Miguel in the Toro Rosso. So, real hard fight going on between these guys again. And Buddha takes the place. Yes, he does. Lovely job. But look at Gamble. Look at Gamble come through. Takes full advantage of Miguel being caught there. And just, well...
just absolutely stole it.
Yeah.
He had absolutely no right, but he did it. You know, he absolutely... I'll tell you what, these UF people, do I call them UF clan or whatever, the group of them anyway, the McLaren drivers are going to be absolutely furious at the moment. They're down 6 and 7 positions from their starting grid, where they started a front row lockout. They're down in 7th and 9th as Buddha. Oh! We've got another overtake coming on here, surely into 14.
Yes, we have.
Nah, cracking defending from Buddha.
Buddha holds him off beautifully there as they're coming into the back chicane, 15, 16 and 17 now.
Oh, I tell you what, that incident with Savage is going to make one person very happy. It's Stoner. I said he's going to take full advantage from the fact Bo isn't here today. This rate, he could be taking 25 points. What a way to try and get back a second.
It's certainly looking that way at this moment. He's got a 16-second gap to Bass. But Bass is running on the super softs, remember.
So he's expected to run a slightly longer stint.
He hasn't come in. Yeah, he hasn't come in as yet. So, Stoner, Bass, Michael, Grim, our 4 drivers
None of them have actually come in as yet.
I think one worth mentioning here, Stoner obviously on the set of Ultrasofts is still pulling away by about a tenth a lap, I think. So he is still on the faster compound after 13 laps. So the question is...
Look at this! And Gamble's looking... Yes! Is he going to make that move?
Still holding it. Buddha's still holding it.
So Buddha's really, really under pressure here from both McLaren drivers, and the McLaren drivers themselves are competing obviously with one another as well.
Savage is looking for space, there is none. And the question is, what are they going to do as regards of team tactics here? Is Gamble just going to say, listen, I'm now faster, I'm faster here?
There are no team tactics with McLaren.
Whoa. Oh, here we go into 14.
13, and Buddha's just pushing him out there. But I think
Buddha's
he's
got
it.
Inside, surely. No, Buddha's got the inside. Surely he can hold it.
They're coming into 14. It's a tricky turn.
He's got him on the outside. Fantastic overtake.
Lovely move there from Savage.
It's a McLaren sandwich.
So Buddha now sandwiched between both the McLaren drivers. But lovely move there by Savage. Beautiful. Buddha's under pressure now from Gamble as well. They're coming into the start-finish straight now. They will have DRS. Buddha will not have DRS, but Gamble will.
Slacky has just overtaken Grimm into turn 1. Fantastic.
Buddha's holding him off as they're coming around 3 now.
Gamble's wanting a bit of it. He's going to have DRS coming up, obviously, through turn.
He's going to have it now.
Here we go, through turn 5.
DRS.
It's got to be
Wing
McLaren's
open.
now,
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes the move.
Bounce happen, Buddha. Still wants
Gamble
that's
makes the
it.
move on Buddha there. So Grimm was overtaken by Slacky in turn 1. He's already 1.5 seconds behind him.
Well, I tell you what, Slacky's also in a good sector 2-3, yellow flags waved. As Phenomenon is spun out, he's used the escape road.
Yeah, he's looking okay though. So
he's really struggling out there today.
I think he regrets not running with all his assists.
Tell you what, Woods, I just want to put in another comment again on Stoner at the moment. He's on now 15 lap old Ultrasoft tyres, possibly even more with the qualifying times, and still pulling away by about 0.2 a lap. The Baz F1 tonight on a slightly harder compound of tyre. I don't know where he's managing to get the grip from, but Stoner is absolutely flying at the moment on those old Ultrasofts. So
he is, question is, Stoner really looks after his tyres so well. Let's have a quick look on here. I mean, we can see the right-hand tyre. Probably got a little bit more wear on the inside and the left.
Yeah, there's a little bit of camber.
There is wear there.
Yeah, a little bit of camber, but that's not. I mean, I'll tell you what, considering they are 16-lap old Ultras,
not what one would expect on this track. You know, after 15 laps, and that's not including the qualifying laps as well, as you quite rightly said there, Jodder.
Must admit, like I said, the Baz F1 at the moment, he's going to be keeping a firm eye at the moment on his super softs to determine when's the most appropriate time to come in, because he is 17.5 seconds down on Stoner. I think it's about 25 seconds
still
pits.
Looking good though.
The thing is
still looking good.
I think it's about 25 seconds in the pits, you getting in, changing tyres out again, so Stoner's obviously going to be looking into when's the appropriate time.
Stoner's starting to slide a bit more now. Yeah.
I think he's got it, he's alright. It's got to be. No, he's in, he's decided, that's it.
He's coming in, yeah, that's it.
Do you reckon that little bit of a slide
is coming under the bridge. So Bass, in theory, should get about an 8-second gap.
Yeah, should be about 8 seconds.
But let's see, Bass is just coming round. Last
on
turn
another set of Ultrasofts. Interesting.
So Stoner's coming out on another set of Ultrasofts down there. It's going to be close.
Reckon it's going to be about 8 seconds, and those Ultrasofts are going to be mega quick with no laps on them.
Yep, he's going to close down that gap really quick, and then Bass still has to pit, but then again Stoner will as well. So
I mean, he's going ultra aggressive.
Interesting.
I mean, certainly for sure. I think obviously it's definitely going to be a 2-lap strategy.
I reckon to the pits now for Renault as well. I
reckon Stoner is obviously going to be doing an extra. He's probably going to do 2 ultra soft runs and possibly a super soft run to the end. Possibly.
Yeah, I think he can. He looks after his tyres so well. So I think he's got every possibility of doing that.
The question we've got here, though, is with Baz at the moment on a set of super softs, he's probably going to go on to 2 sets of ultra softs after that super soft run. How quick is he going to be compared to Stoner? Because it's definitely going to be at least it's got to be at least a 20-ish second gap.
Taken out 4 tenths, 5 tenths, I think.
Oh, and he's on an outlap as well. He's mega quick.
Yeah. So he is shifting. I'd expect him to close down on Bass probably round about lap 19. Let's see now. Bass just coming into the back section now. Finishing off lap 16 into 17. And that gap now is only... he's already taken out, well, nearly 2 seconds, Stoner, in his open lap. Let's see what's happening here as he comes across the line. Stoner now coming across.
Question is
he's got it down to under 5 seconds.
With a track of this sort of caliber, with the lack of overtaking and the chance for being held back, Baz has got to basically hold Stoner back and let him burn through those ultra softs without actually using any speed. So Baz is definitely going to be caught up very quickly. I mean, he's only just up the road. He's mega quick. It's brilliant.
And when
driving
lap 17, I was saying lap 19. It's going to be it's going to be before that.
Oh, he's mega quick. Brilliant driving.
Though. So tricky to call here. So, who hasn't come in?
It'll be about
Michael
18,
hasn't
19.
come in, and Bass hasn't come in, and Buddha hasn't come in. So, Buddha, Michael, and Bass have not come in as yet. All the super soft drivers, or the super soft tyres out on track at this moment in time. So
they'll
this is
probably
going to be interesting.
They'll probably be coming in about lap 25-ish, I reckon, for the super soft tyres. Might be a little bit later, not too sure, but the super soft, based on what I'm seeing on the onboard cameras anyway, still looking pretty good quality.
Well, fortunately, having commentated for F1 tonight for a few races, I can tell you that you're not going to see Bass coming in before lap 30.
Yeah, true. Actually, I'm taking a look at his tyre degradation at the moment. Those super softs are looking pretty good quality. A little bit of grooving coming in, maybe, but yeah, looking pretty clean.
Slight touch on the right inside, but that's about it.
No surprise, Stoner going purple.
1:43.2 provisional fastest lap from Stoner there, and he's already got it down to 1.2 seconds. Lap 18.
He'll for sure have DRS. He'll for sure have DRS in the next lap, that's for sure.
Yeah, he will have DRS certainly in the next lap, and he might well have it on that start-finish straight.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is going to be
look at
very,
the speed
very
he can take through that.
He is flying. Down to 5 tenths. And they're only halfway round lap 18. Well, not even half, a third of the way round, actually.
So the question is, how long can Baz keep Stoner behind? Because with every corner that he doesn't overtake, is definitely going to be the more time he loses. And Baz obviously wants to make sure that Stoner loses as much time as possible. It's going to be a very interesting call on this strategy.
I can tell you now, Bass will stay out as long and as possibly can. I wouldn't expect to come in before lap 30. Even if Stoner takes the place from him, Bass is going to keep that pressure on. So they're coming round, laps corners 19 to 20. And Stoner is literally breathing in those exhaust fumes.
coming on the start-finish straight. He's got the DRS.
Yeah, wait until the second DRS zone. He's doing the right thing here.
Yeah. He's
good exit out of 3.
Right. Yeah. Staying on that gearbox. He's not moving.
Into 5.
Bass maintaining his line there.
Oh, fantastic exit from Stoner here. This is it, surely.
Here we go. He's coming into turn 7. He's got the advantage. He's got the inside. But Bass,
ooh, bit of a touch.
Nearly had a bit of wing contact there.
Look at this. Too wide through there.
And he takes him. Beautiful, beautiful move there on turn 8 from Stoner. But Bass is going to keep that pressure up. I can tell you that now.
Savage is on the gearbox of Michael for P3 as well. He's gaining fast. Savage doing a good job.
Here we go now. Coming over the bridge. Tricky set of turns here.
Worth mentioning, obviously, Michael still hasn't done a pit stop, much like Baz has, and obviously the super soft runners are now really starting to struggle on lap 19. You mentioned Baz might not be coming in till lap 30, and he might look after his tyres as much as he can, but those super softs are slow compared to these new ultra softs. So, oh, on the outside.
Oh, look at this, and he's looking to make the move the same as Stoner did.
Cracking.
Nice. Beautiful, beautiful move there in turn, I think it was turn 13, wasn't it? Yes, 14, sorry.
Yeah, going through turn 14, fantastic driving there for sure from Savage, and the McLaren driver looking to capitalise on his excellent qualifying position. So, what person who's pit stopped just once, much like Stoner, the non-stopping super soft runners so far very, very slow compared to the rest of the field.
They are definitely slowing.
Like I said, you mentioned the lap 30. Like I said, you mentioned the lap 30. Apologies to interrupt. I do genuinely think that these tyres can't go as far as 30 without losing buckets of time. I think he has to swap soon.
I would be very, very surprised if Bass comes in before lap 30. Very surprised.
Yellow's waved in sector 3. And that's for a spinning Nicky. Using the escape road.
Let's run through our runners and riders. So we're lap 20. We're a third of the way through this F1 tonight, 2017 Season 3 Singapore Grand Prix. Stoner is provisional first place. Behind him is Bass, 3.8 seconds behind. Interesting call here. He's on the set of super softs. He still hasn't pitted. I'm calling it for no less than lap 30. Jota feels that he will be coming in sooner. We will certainly see what happens there. Savage started in the front row, lost it midfield, had an issue. He's now back into third place, but he's still 13 seconds behind Bass in the Ferrari. Coming up behind them is Michael in the Toro Rosso. Sorry, Michael in the Mercedes. He also has not pitted as yet, so it'll be interesting to see what happens on there. Fifth is Gamble. He's currently 10 seconds behind Michael. He's in 5th place in the McLaren. Then we have Buddha in 6th place in the Renault. He also hasn't pitted. He's still on a set of super softs, and behind him is his teammate Slacky on a set of ultra softs. It's only 2.1 seconds behind, so he'll be closing in pretty soon. Then we have Slim Shamy in the Williams in 8th place. Grim for Red Bull is in 9th. Martin, BMW for Toro Rosso, is in 10th. He's followed by his teammate Miguel in 11th. Then we have Nicky in the Force India. He's just come out of the pits there. He's gone on to a set of softs. Then we have Phenomenon in the Sauber, is currently in 13th place. And John F1, unfortunately DNF after going into the barrier. So here we are now, runners and riders. We've got Buddha's just pitting now. Let's see what he's going on to. So Buddha's pitting in from 6th place. His teammate Slacky's taken that 6th place from him. He's now down to 8th. The Slim in the Williams comes past him, and he's gone on to a set of super softs again.
Just want to make a bit of a clear. Just want to make a bit of a note here as well. Savage, ending lap 20, managed to get himself into the 144s. Meanwhile, Baz, on the old super softs that he started on, are doing 147s. He's 10 seconds behind. By the start of lap 21, they were 16 seconds behind. So for sure,
so he's definitely losing time.
Baz is going to have a face
in.
full of McLaren in a second, surely.
Is that going to phase him, or is he sticking to his strategy?
Like I said, I think honestly, I think it's a wise call to swap onto a set of softs maybe until the end. I'd try potentially a one-stop.
Here we go again. He's going round again. Lap 23. He's staying out there for now.
Oh, going massively wide, Buddha. Losing much time on Grim.
Needs to close down that gap. Grim is on a set of ultra softs. Oh, happened there. Going around now. Bass gap now is down to 9 seconds from Savage. So, as you quite rightly said, he's taking about 3 seconds out of a lap plus out of Bass. So he will be very soon up on the gearbox end. You can just see him in the background there. They're coming round the back section.
Less than 10 seconds now.
Yep, down to 9. Stoner out in front. He's got that 10-second gap. So the field pretty much settled down now after that little round of pit stops. Bass still out on the same set of super softs he started this race with. Michael as well, I believe, hasn't pitted either. No, he hasn't.
I reckon it's going to be about lap 25 when Savage managed to get up to the gearbox of Baz. Like I say, will it phase Baz to potentially come into the pits, or will he stick to his strategy? Because if you are right and he does go past lap 30, he's definitely going to be looking at potentially a couple of ultra soft runs. So Baz may be looking for an extremely quick final stint.
He will. I think that could well be the game plan there. And when I'm just watching Miguel and Martin, because Miguel is now closing on his teammate. Only 3/10 in it. Miguel on a set of ultra softs and his teammate Martin on a set of softs. They go over the bridge now. Turn 13. Oh, look at this. Yes, and Miguel makes the move on him. To be fair though, I think that Martin would pretty much let him through there as well. So Miguel moves up into 10th place, taking that from his teammate Martin in 11th. Nicky, Martin, Nicky and Phenomenon are back runners at this moment in time in 11th, 12th and 13th, all running on the soft, so they are looking for a nice long stint there to hopefully push them up the positions. And Savage now, that gap, wow, it's 8 seconds. He hasn't lost as much time as he was previously. I think Bass has started to open it up now. Either that or Savage has eased off, I'm not too sure which.
Just taking a look at the moment between Savage and Bass, for sure has lost a second in just one sector, Baz has, so for sure it's looking like Savage is definitely going to be on the front foot to Baz in the next couple of laps maybe, but it may not be as quick as I thought it would. Yellow's waved in sector 1, Mikel's crashed.
That's Miguel, oh no! Yeah, into the barrier there. So Miguel just taken the place from his teammate Martin there, 10th place, crashes into the barrier. I'm not too sure where that is actually. Is that lap?
That's coming into turn. That's coming into turn number 5. Coming into turn 5. Coming into turn 5. Obviously onto the main DRS straight. You'll see as Baz is going past now. There's Mikel's crash car. Very, very concerned that there wasn't a safety car for that as well, because it's a very dangerous location.
Yeah, well, let's say that will be cleared up very, very quickly indeed.
6 seconds the gap now between Savage and Baz. Wow.
But it's not, he is closing it down, but it's not at the same rate that he was previously. Probably around about 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap now.
Yeah, clearly those ultra softs are starting to struggle at the moment, so I think potentially the ultra soft call may have been a bit of a downfall if he was looking to try and get Baz on the straight. We've got to remember Savage obviously crashed, didn't he, after that incident with John, where his ghosted car distracted him and made him spin. So
Indeed.
obviously
Spin
he
into
has
the barrier.
lost time. But he is now 4.5 seconds behind, so he's gaining lots of time in sectors 2 and 3. In fact, he's gained 1.5 seconds in sector 2,
Yeah,
so he's struggling in sector 1.
That's clearly where he's gaining, is on the on those harder corners. On the first sector, I think Bass is maintaining that gap, and I think, as you rightly say there, Savage is starting to close down on those last 2 sectors.
Meanwhile, Stoner in the front now is nearly a pit stop ahead as Baz is in the pits, 25.
He's coming at 25. Well, I'll eat my words. Bass, you owe me one. So,
There goes
Bass
Savage.
now. Savage takes the place. So Bass will come out in 3rd place. I think that's probably what he was looking at. He's got some super softs, yeah. Sorry, softs, yeah. So that will see him in. That will see him till the end of the race now.
Yeah, looking for a one-stop strategy from Baz. It's a very, very bold call. He thinks he's fast enough to do it. We'll have to see what happens.
It is a bold call. So Slacky now moves up into 4th place. 3rd place is now Michael in the Mercedes. Savage back to 2nd.
Michael's still yet to pit, though.
Yeah.
Ooh, right, okay, so he might be doing a super soft and then 2 ultra softs in, so he's going to have to take that. God, he's going to have to take it well past lap 30, and you can clearly see how Baz was really struggling on those super softs. So he's going to have to really push.
Now, looking at Michael's tyres, far more wear on them.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of blistering in it.
The camber of those super softs.
Yeah, the camber on those tyres means that they can't get a lot of mechanical grip, especially through sector 2, which is where Baz was struggling on earlier, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Michael copes with that.
You can see him feathering the throttle as they're coming round turn 13 there. Closing in on him is Slacky on that set of ultra softs. Won't be long before he'll be beyond the gearbox of Michael.
Michael hasn't pit stopped yet. Slacky has done 2 stops, so it just shows you how much time he's gained going on an extra set of pit stops, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So we've seen a lot of the drivers come in, double up on the super softs, on the ultra softs, and this is a very clear representation, as Jota rightly points out, of that strategy. Let's see now, because he is closing down.
DRS open, here he goes. Savage also in the pits as well on another set of ultra softs. Interesting.
Hey, Slacky really up the pace now.
Interesting to see though, Baz has overtook Savage in the pits as predicted, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But with Savage on a set of ultra softs on his 2nd stint, the question is, when will Savage be able to re-overtake Baz?
On Baz. Just watching now, and Slacky looking to try and make the move on turn 7. He can't. They're coming into turn 8.
Oh, he's going for it.
Looking to make the move on turn 8. Is he got it? Oh, wheel-to-wheel contact there. Does Michael? Yes, Michael manages to pull it out. They're coming into turn 9. Oh, there's definite wheel-to-wheel contact there.
There's definitely some front wing damage though, surely on that car, is there? Lost some end plates.
I think Slacky, yeah, Slacky's got front wing damage on the inside.
Oh, there's some more.
And again,
dear.
Both sides now gone.
That's
Slacky is going to have to come into the pits for a new front wing.
That's awful. That's awful for Slacky. 2 stops he's committed to, and he's now got to change a front wing. It could potentially be a 4-stop strategy for Slacky, unless he goes onto a set of softs to the end, and he's going to be uber slow.
See what happens now. He's still keeping up there, interestingly enough. But I think he's going to have to pit on this one.
Very interesting call. If Slacky does pit now and goes onto a set of softs, he's going to be in front of Savage. At this rate, he'll be in front of Savage, according to this screen.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's taking the risk of taking the understeer.
He's staying out.
Wouldn't have done that.
He's got Bass closing in behind him as well.
Well, it's very good for Baz, that's for sure.
Absolutely. This will certainly help him a great deal. And if he can manage to take Slacky before he actually gets in the pits as well and start to open up a gap, then that is really going to make it very interesting, because Savage is still going to have to get past Slacky if Slacky decides to stay out. If he's happy to stay out with that front wing damage that he's got, I mean, he's still got a front wing, but
Slim Shamey into the pits.
Slim will be going on to a set of softs as well.
Here we are, Baz is on the back end of Slacky. Slacky's understeer is horrendous. He's got to go into the pits and change that front wing.
Bass is just closing down there. I think he'll take him on the turn. I think he's going to take him here, yeah, on 14 probably. Bass looking to make that move.
Probably won't go into 14 because those soft tyres are going to have really, really poor grip through the slower corners. I reckon he'll probably try to get in through turn 5, maybe into turn 6.
Yeah. A fair play to Slacky. He's keeping that gap to 7/10, still under a second. You can see Savage zooming in the background there, and there he is, Savage coming round as well.
Four-way fight, wow.
Slacky staying, no, he's gone in. Slacky's gone in, so that now
no surprise.
Releases Bass. So Bass, only 1 second now off the gearbox of Michael, but he's got Savage behind him on that set of Ultra Softs.
Want to keep a firm eye on his tactics as well, whether he's going to do a set of softs to the end, because he probably should. Let's have a look. No, another set of ultras. And he's got a 5-second stop go.
Okay.
Oh no, set of super softs. Okay, so no, I've got a bit of a tie glitch. It's telling me ultra softs on the front and Rhea says super softs. I'm confused.
Oh, look at this. Oh no, yes, and he makes the move. Savage, look at, yes, Savage makes the move on Bass. But Bass makes it.
Oh, it's close.
Look at this. Oh my goodness. Bass is fighting hard for this, but look at this. They're locking wheels as they're going round there. God,
wow.
What is going on?
Like I said, the extra grip on those ultra soft tyres are really, really starting to show their potential against the lowest grip soft tyres.
Bass cannot afford to let him pass. This is the thing. He's got to try and close him down all the time. But now,
and meanwhile, they've got a Michael. They've got a Michael on an old set of super softs who isn't going to let Bass through easily. Baz is stuck between a rock and a hard place. This is brilliant racing.
What does he do? He has to concentrate on taking that place from Michael.
He has to take the place from Michael, and if he wants to get any chance at all in being able to make up the use of those soft tyres, a one-stop strategy around here, he has to get around Michael.
Savage looking to take the inside. Oh, dearie me. Savage isn't waiting for a good opportunity. He's going to take whatever opportunity he can make.
It's going to be very interesting going through turn 5 into turn 6, because both the McLarens going up on the inside.
Look at this, and he makes the move. Oh, but can he make it stick? Yes! What a move from Savage as they're coming round turn 22. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Oh, it's tapped him. Baz has tapped him. Oh, Baz has got front wing damage. Baz has got front wing damage.
Front wing damage.
That's awful. That could be possibly the worst thing.
He did not want that.
Oh, and there goes Savage on Michael. That might be Baz's race is over, that.
Oh, it's all gone Pete Tong for Bass here. He is going to be fuming.
Nah, that's awful for Baz as well.
Still on the same set of super softs, and we're on lap 29
and he's going to be faster. Michael is going to be faster than Baz with that front wing damage, even though Michael's on that really, really old set of super softs. I'm sorry, but I think Michael's going to be faster, because that wing damage is, especially around sector 2, is going to be awful.
And while all this has been going on, look at that gap that Stoner has opened up.
Just got to remember, obviously, Savage has obviously pitted an extra time, but Stoner, regardless, on a set of ultra softs now at the moment. And like I said, and you've said before, he looks after his tyres very well. It's looking very good for Stoner, not just for second, but also for first. With Baz now on a really, really, really downfall at the moment. He's on 194. If he can't capitalise enough to try and take more points off Bo, Stoner's going to be eating the point gap.
Absolutely, and this is just going to be eating into his hands here. It really is great opportunity here.
Cracking control from Stoner. Cracking control from Stoner. Brilliant work. Baz in the pits, no surprise.
We're certainly going to be seeing Stoner take second place in the Drivers' Championship and closing.
What's he going on?
Hard on Baz.
Yeah, no surprise from Baz. He's decided to go into a set of ultra softs. He wants to try and eat all those time back, but that means he still has to get another time. The only option he's got here, only option Baz has got, is to go on those ultra softs and then do a set of super softs. So he's got to make it. He's going to have to do a 3-stop strategy, which is unbelievable considering he tried to do a 1. He's lost so much time on the super soft tyre start. Awful for him.
So Baz now coming out of the pits in 8th place. He's gone on to set his ultra softs. He needs now to set, well, some blistering times.
He can't set purple. He has to set like unbelievable purple times. He has to go incredibly quick here.
He has, he has really got to push it to the absolute limits if he stands any chance at all of getting on that podium.
He's going to be really annoyed as well because Slacky is in front of him and he's now committed to 3 stops. No doubt Slacky's on a 4-stop strategy and he's going to be ahead of Baz, who was meant to be on a 1.
And that, not only that, remember that we've also got the other Renault driver there, Buddha. He's only done 1 stop and he's on a set of super softs.
It's looking close. I think he's probably looking at an ultra soft, super soft, ultra soft stint then. So
absolutely.
For sure for Buddha, he's making a good call by going on to that. Keep an eye out though, definitely on Michael at the moment. He continues lap 31, on the same set of super softs, and look at the graining on the inside. Unbelievable.
He's basically making contact with that surface with only half his tyres.
It's quite possible that it's only about 3/4 to a half of his tyres really making proper contact. There's at least 70% wear on those super soft tyres. He's done over half the race and qualifying on those tyres. I mean, to make this strategy work, this 2 ultra soft stint, he needs to be a little bit lucky. And with Baz struggling out there, and Gamble quite clearly struggling on those ultra softs now by the looks of things as well, Michael might be in for a good shot of possibly a podium.
It's looking that way. I would not be surprised if he maintains this 3rd place. And in the meantime, Savage is starting to eat into that 56-second gap that Stoner had. He's now down to 53 seconds.
Nottingham struggling there. He's getting overtook again, 2 laps down.
So, yeah, Phenomenon is really struggling on this track. It is not being kind to him, and he really, I'm sure, after this race will be saying, no, don't like Singapore. So there we have our race leader, Stoner,
Buddha!
In the Haas.
Buddha's gone. Oh, no way.
Oh my goodness, was that turn?
The main hairpin on turn 13.
13, sorry. Yeah, oh, it's turn 13, of course, yes. Wow, what's happened there? He must have hit the curb and the barrier on the left.
What'll have happened? It's a typical issue. It's a typical issue with that turn. What'll have happened is going through turn 12, he'd have lost that rear end. He's hit the wall and then obviously hit that right wall and his tyres flown off. So, Buddha, and there's Grim. Grim's gone as well. Whoa, they're all dropping like flies.
Where was this?
Can't make out that turn.
That's the same turn.
No, I think that's... Ooh, I'm not too sure actually. I think that might be turn... I'm not sure actually.
Or am I? It's a very weird position. I'm trying to figure out where that is.
Turn 16 maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no. I think it is. Yeah, I think it's turn 15 to 17. That 3-corner section.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird angle.
So this...
Bit of a weird camera angle, but that makes that... Sorry, mate, that's a bit of an improvement then for Martin on a 1-stop strategy on a set of softs. Not too sure if he's trying to go to the end on those softs, but it's very cool for him because Slacky's now coming out on a set of super softs. So he's now on a 4-stop strategy on a set of super softs, well, we've seen 30 laps come out on Michael's tyres, so he could be to the end of the race.
Possibility. Can't see it.
And I think it's quite plausible. Like I said, Michael's on. It must be those tyres must be what, 35 laps old, maybe. So,
yeah.
If that's the case, I think Martin can go to the end on those super softs on a one-stop strategy. So good for him. Not Martin, sorry,
He's just
Slacker.
coming round now, so is he going to pit on lap 33 or is he going to go for 34?
I'll be honest with you. I think he's probably going to be looking
behind him, and he's going for lap 34.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think if he is wanting to maximise possibly a super soft, ultra soft stint, he's going to have to take these tyres to about lap 40.
Wow.
So, I mean, 60-70% tyre wear by the looks of that at the moment. He's going until the tyres pop. Is it full damage in this league?
It is.
Full damage is still possibility for a puncture, so he's really risking it.
Well, it's certainly interesting. I mean, Michael at this moment in time is 6th place in the Drivers' Championship with 81 points. So if he maintains that place, it will certainly give him some very, very valuable points.
Gamble
and move him up potentially to 5th place.
Gamble gaining buckets of time at the moment on Michael at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how much time he's going to lose through Sector 2.
He's gained 1.2 seconds, I think, just on the first sector.
Worth mentioning, by the way, Stoner has pitted. Stoner has pitted again. He's pitted onto a new set of ultra softs and he's 25 seconds still ahead. So, unbelievable from him at the moment. He's flying.
He is doing an absolutely amazing job there.
He's lost about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, Michael, on just Sector 2 alone, so he is really, really struggling.
And I think... yeah, Gamble's undoubtedly going to make the move on him now.
So this is why I was...
Unless Michael comes in. If Michael comes in, and he's not... Oh, yes! He was looking to come in.
I don't think he was. I'm not sure.
I think he was looking to come in, but I think he couldn't because... Yeah, I think he couldn't because Gamble had the line where he couldn't cross. So he's had to stay out.
Yeah, so he's potentially going one step later than he wants to. Worth mentioning, though, I think this is the reason why I thought Baz was going to come in around lap 25-ish, was because of the issue with the Super Softs running their course. Best says, look, he's not even got to DRS line, and Gamble's got him.
Yep.
Unbelievable stuff. Look at the tyre deg.
Michael not making it easy for him. He's still fighting for it.
Interesting viewing as well. If you are into your tyre depths here, Woods, take a look at the rear view camera on Michael's car. You can see 2 grooves in the Super Soft Runner cars now.
Oh wow, look at that. Yeah, just looking at it now.
You are looking at potentially, what, 70? You've got to be looking at 70% tyre wear now, surely.
It's got to be. I think he did want to come in, as I said earlier. I think it was just unfortunate that Gamble effectively closed the door on the pits to him and he couldn't come in.
Yeah. It's
Phenomenon's been disqualified.
Yeah, parked in a dangerous location. He's been struggling all race.
He's just spun out there. He is struggling. Oh.
Interested to see what Michael does anyway as he starts Sector 3 now, so he might come into the pits if that issue with Gamble was the case.
Yep. Well, it certainly looked that way to me. No,
he's not doing it.
Out.
Now, like I said,
he's staying out.
He is. He's wanting to do. I'm sure he's going to be wanting to do a 2-step ultra soft run after this. So he is going to have to take these super softs to around lap 40 for that to work.
Oh my God! He's got 5 laps to go. I mean, well, the possibility now of him having a puncture
is plausible.
It's got to be 70%.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting viewing.
Now we have Gamble and Savage. Well, Savage maintains his 2nd place after some toing and froing during the course of this race. We're on lap 35, so we're just over halfway through the race. And what a race it has been. Savage and Gamble, well, Gamble and Savage started pole and second. Savage, they dropped back, they had some issues, they've now come back again.
Oh,
Gamble is in third place, he's 30 seconds behind his teammate. Savage is 26 seconds behind Stoner, and Stoner has absolutely stolen the show so far, putting in some amazing times and some amazing tyre wear as well.
He's running away with it.
Facilitated the possibility there.
He's running away with it, isn't he, Woods? Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got Michael now in the Mercedes. He's in fourth place, but he's still on the same set of super softs that he qualified with and started the race with. And we're on lap 36. And Jodo's been pointing out that really, if he's looking to do a super soft, ultra soft run, then he's going to have to go at least another 4 laps on these tyres in order to make that work.
Yeah, he can possibly risk doing.
Fifth place.
He can possibly risk doing an ultra. Sorry, he can definitely risk doing a 1 ultra soft tyre run if he wanted to, but he is going to have to take the super soft tyres straight to the end. Now, coming into the pits, Michael. There we go. Is that enough?
He's coming in. So Michael's come in now. Bassey's just coming round to the start-finish straight. He's in 5th place on that set of ultra softs. Now remember, he came out in 9th place. So he has now jumped up to 4th place with those ultra softs. I haven't seen, though, him set a fastest lap as yet.
No.
So he's
Baz
clearly
has been
putting in
struggling.
some fast laps, but not fastest. And that's what he needs to be doing. He needs to be setting in fastest lap after fastest lap.
Yeah, Baz's fastest time at the moment is a 1:42.8, and Stoner chipped in the last lap with a 1:42.0. So it's quite clear,
So
Baz,
2-second gap between them there.
Even with the fresh ultra soft at the moment, Baz is really going to be struggling. I say fresh, actually, they'll be reasonably old now by this time. Michael now coming on to with a brand new set of ultra softs on a very, very nice worn down track. I wouldn't put it past Michael to end up now starting to close the gap on Baz.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're looking at 15 seconds. What do you think? 2 seconds a lap, possibly? If he sets the same sort of times that Stoner's setting, that's what we'd be looking at.
If we're looking at something like that at the moment, I would expect it to be about 1 second a lap, because the only difference between Stoner and Baz on the fastest lap is a second. It's only 0.8 of a second. So we'll have to see. It obviously depends on the driving experience as well, but I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that will certainly be worthwhile keeping an eye on. He's got 18 seconds at this moment in time, so we've still got 24 laps to go. So by my calcs, there's every potential he could close that gap, but it won't be until the latter parts of this race.
There's at least one pit stop left between Baz and Michael as well, so they're both now going to be fighting for 4th, that's for sure. Interesting to see where the McLarens are going to do as well, because I'm sure Gamble went on those set of ultra softs earlier than Savage did, and it's a reasonable amount of time separating them, but that gap could be closing.
Let's have a look at their tyre grade. Tyre deg looks pretty similar on both cars at this moment in time. Stoner's tyres.
Yeah, it looks a little bit similar. I think Gamble's maybe actually a little bit more worn down, but you mentioned how Gamble has a slightly lower downforce setup, so obviously those tyres are having to work a lot harder to keep that grip going, so it's no surprise that if they did come in around about the same time, or if Gamble did come in earlier, that his tyre degradation is obviously going to be higher.
Well, and look at that gap. I mean, that is a pit window gap, more or less.
It's unbelievable stuff. Yeah, Savage gets a 3-second time penalty.
Indeed. Obviously will count towards the end of the race, so he better hope that, and we've seen it happen before, where with time penalties, podiums have been lost.
So yeah, I've just double check on the Michael Baz fight at the moment. Michael is closing down on Baz by just 7/10. That's all. So at this rate, at 7/10,
it will be the latter parts of this race if he manages to.
If they do end up, they both do have a pit stop. So obviously, them two are obviously going to be scrapping maybe towards the end of the race at this rate.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. So that's going to be interesting. That gap to Gamble, pretty much between 4th and Bass in 4th to 3rd is pretty much staying even around about that 12 to 13 seconds.
I just want to give a good shout out as well to Savage as well for being able to maintain 2nd place even after that accident with what happened with John's ghosted vehicle. So pretty good call, and he's some good driving to make himself back into 2nd place. Be a bit of a shame though that he hasn't managed to capitalise on his podium, on his pole position. Sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, I think actually no, Savage. I think he was. Yeah, Savage did start in 2nd. It was Gamble that was in a pole. So
I apologise. No, yeah, well, but either way, that
no, I wasn't too sure myself. I thought I'd better double check it.
Yeah, the McLarens haven't managed to capitalise on their 1-2 by only getting a 2-3. So Stoner's obviously taken full advantage. Obviously, Stoner would absolutely love for Michael to take points off Baz, because then obviously that closes the gap. As Michael's car's now left, seems like there's been a bit of an issue with connection.
Michael has ghosted at this moment in time. Hopefully he'll be able to reconnect.
Yeah, it'd be a shame actually, because he was on a good fight.
He was. I mean, Slacky's 15 seconds behind him, but with the ghost, you could probably lose a good 3 seconds a lap plus.
Absolutely, and I think that one thing to make clear as well is with Slacky as well, his super soft tyres are expected to go to the end of the race, so Slacky's got a good opportunity with 13 seconds.
He's back in again. Michael's back in again.
Oh, there we go.
Party.
Cool.
So he should be taking control very, very soon indeed. So that gap has closed down to Slacky to 12 seconds. You can see Slacky just coming in the background now. Oh, who's that coming out? That's the Force India. Oh, it's okay. He's goes, no worries there.
Yeah, going to be a bit of a problem though, for sure. As soon as Michael does reconnect, there he is. He has got the blue flags for Nicky, hopefully.
He's in, but Slacky has closed down that gap now to 9 seconds, so he's halved the gap more or less.
Yeah, but Slacky's got to look after those super softs.
He has. I don't think he's going to close it down any more than that. So Michael just got, or Nicky just unlapped himself, but I think Michael's going to be taking that back pretty soon. Bass has closed down that gap now to 10 seconds to Gamble. Interesting. And the gap has opened up between Gamble and Savage.
Yes, obviously his ultra softs are now starting to wear down a little bit, so keep a firm eye on that.
Gamble's clearly losing time. And he's coming in.
Going into the pits.
He's coming in. Yeah. So Gamble's coming in now.
Set supers to the end.
It's got to be, isn't it? Surely.
Because I don't think Gamble's been on any of the tyre.
Super softs?
Yeah, there it is. Super softs. He's on to the end.
Super softs, yeah. So Bass takes 3rd place from Gamble on a set of ultra softs, but he's going to have to be coming in pretty soon. Gamble comes out, pits, but comes out on a set of super softs now. So he'll be coming out comfortably, I think, in 4th place. So, wow, yeah, this is interesting now. Gap for Savage to Stoner is, if anything, opened up. Bass is now 48 seconds behind Savage. It's going to really be... Now, this is Gamble's podium to lose now, in my opinion.
No, I agree, yeah, 100%. He's got the super softs to the end of the race. They're going to be 10 laps younger than Slacky's super softs. And Michael has obviously had a bit of an issue with the connection, managed to reconnect, so he's now going to have to push on those set of ultra softs, and there is a bit of grading happening in the middle of the tyre as well. He's going to need to pit at some point, so that means he'll probably be down back in 6th position, but his super softs are going to be significantly younger, so anything to play for 5th, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's looking very, very tight on that. So, well, I think all things said, we're about 3/4 of the way, well, nearly 3/4 of the way through this race now. Stoner is our race leader and has been more or less from the get-go in the Haas. 2nd place is Savage. He's maintaining that place from the pit although saying that, he had dropped back to the midfield. Both him and his teammate Gamble both suffered from issues on the track. So Savage is maintaining that second place, but he's 30 seconds behind Stone at this moment in time. We've got Bass in the Ferrari, who was looking at, I think, a potential winning strategy, but it all went horribly wrong for him. And he was forced onto, well, we're thinking really a full stop, aren't we?
Yeah, forced onto a four-stop strategy, and if anything, actually, it will have annoyed the likes of Baz, who was meant to be only on a one-stop strategy, and he was probably going to be with a one-stop strategy about 25 seconds up the road. So he would have still, it'd have been basically on the tip with UF Savage for second. So very, very good things for Stoner, that's for sure.
So that's all gone horribly wrong for Bass, and I think Bass is really going to be looking at a fourth place fight. Well, potentially with Michael, but Michael's lost time, unfortunately, because he had a connection issue. So that has mixed it up now. I think Bass maybe is looking comfortable for that fourth place now.
No, I agree 100%, but I think one thing to keep an eye out on, obviously, is Gamble at the moment. Now, he's obviously on a set of Super Softs. Baz's Ultra Softs are starting to grade now, but I still think they are the faster tyre. So, because at the moment, there is a 16-second gap between the two of them. Gap. So I'll keep an eye out on the times.
Yeah, because, I mean, if he was to pit now, Bass would come out behind Gamble.
But he wants to try and pull out a gap as much as he can.
Come out on another set of Ultra Softs.
Well, he's doing 44 zeros. They're the fastest that I've seen him do in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, wow, yeah, this could prove very interesting indeed. So, as I said earlier, this is Gamble's podium to lose, really. He has to really push it if he wants to certainly at least keep that third place or get that third place on the podium. Right, well, it is all to play for now. The last third of this race. Oh, what's that? Oh, that was Bass just making the back move marker there on Slim. Yeah. Back marker.
No, it's going to be very interesting to see this for sure, matey. If you keep an eye out, there's a second and a half being taken out at the moment on Gamble. So, sorry, from Baz on Gamble rather. So even with the extra one stop, we're expecting, well, it'll be a 7 lap, so it'll be about lap 50. We're expecting Gamble to be on the tail of Baz unless Baz pits. Baz really should consider pitting around. Well, if he has another set of Ultra Softs available, he could probably pit lap 50. I reckon about lap 50, with 11 laps on those Ultra Softs, he could close the gap on Gamble. The only issue is, Gamble is going to be well ahead by then. Oh, it's going to be close.
Well, Gamble will have potentially, at this moment in time, a 10-second gap if they were to pit or thereabouts. So, yeah.
If I was Baz, personally, I would probably take these Ultra Softs up until about 45 and go on to a set of Super Softs to the end. At least then the gap between Gamble and Baz will only be, what, about 10-ish seconds, like you said? So
and that's a gap that he could potentially close down within that
with a brand new set of Super Softs, exactly.
Yeah, I agree on that, Jono. I think that's that would be the call, well, potentially the call to make. But there is one little thing that we're forgetting. We're on lap 44. We had a wet qualifying session. There is nothing to say that we won't have the rain come back again, and if we do,
if the rain comes, that's going to just put everything up in the air.
Yeah, it's well. Sorry to throw that one into the mix there, but
yeah, it's confusing, isn't it?
Throwing in.
Yeah, it'd be a tricky one. I can't imagine though Slacky doing a 4-stop strategy, working into 6th position, using 4 stops to a disadvantage when he's got an intermediate weather potentially happening. So I still think it will be dry to the end, based on the fact that some drivers have done 4 stops, 3 stops. But I might be wrong. We don't know. We'll see.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe. Give me 5 minutes and I'll do a quick rain dance.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow. Okay, so here we are now. running for our runners and riders. Let's run in reverse order. We've got Nicky in the Force India, who unfortunately had a horrible incident in the first lap, which really set him on the back foot from that point on. So Force India Nicky, he's currently in 9th place. He's still stayed in there. I would need to go back obviously to Phenomenon. Unfortunately he was disqualified due to manoeuvres on the track. We then had John F1, who was our first casualty. He went out, then it was followed by Buddha, then Miguel in the Toro Rosso. Nicky, as I say, in the Force India, he's bringing up 9th place. Slim Shady in the Williams is currently in 8th. Martin BMW in the Toro Rosso put up some great fighting in the midfield between the Renault drivers, and indeed I think holding off also the McLaren drivers as they were moving up the field earlier on. So he takes 7th place. Slacky in the Renault, well, he's been in more pit stops than I think than anyone else, I think, in the race so far. But saying that, he has done very well. He's up in 6th place, so it has paid dividends for him. Then we have Michael in the Mercedes, who, well, has really put in some amazing laps on the tyres. And he's currently in 5th place. He had an issue with connection, unfortunately, which meant that he lost quite a bit of time. Probably around about 12 or 15 seconds, which he was having a good fight, I think, for potential 4th place with Bass. Gamble, he's currently in 4th place, did start in pole. He had that incident, unfortunately, with, well, involving John F1, which put him on the back foot, but he's in 4th place at this moment in time. He's, well, we're saying he's got a podium to potentially lose here. I mean, hopefully he's looking for 3rd, but he's got Bass, whose one-stop strategy went horribly wrong for him. I'm just trying, what was the incident actually with Bass that he had? I'm just trying to think. He went out. Did he span out somewhere, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. I just wanted to keep an eye on the times at the moment, and Baz is losing 3.3, and his Gamble is gaining by only 4/10. So Gamble gaining by only 4/10 at the moment means he will be struggling to try and, well, overtake him on this stint. But Baz has on the podium. But Baz does have to pit, and unfortunately I think he's going to miss out on a podium here. It is Gamble's for the taking.
Yeah, I think you're right there. We said, you know, it was Gamble's to lose, but that's flipped now. We're looking at the reverse side of the coin now, because this is now Bass's podium to lose. He's going to have to pit now, surely. He has to pit now. While he's
if he wants to have any opportunity at battling for it, he has to pit now and get himself on a set of super softs. He might be able to close that gap down with Gamble on those extra ultra softs, but bearing in mind
Savage has set the fastest provisional time of a 1:40.9.
But Gamble set a 1:41.3.
Savage is starting to eat into that gap to Stoner, but I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference.
Yeah, apologies. Yeah, I was just saying Gamble managed to do a 1:41.3 in the final lap, which was a purple time. So
11 seconds now, but Bass is staying out. Yeah, I mean, that gap is now down to 11 seconds.
Baz is making a really bad call here. If he really wants to have a go at possibly, you know, having a good fight with him, he needs to pit and get himself on a set of super soft tyres. I think that's his only hope.
I think you're right. Okay, so we're settling down to see if we can get some driver comments. And I'm just going to invite Buddha, the Renault driver, who saw go out there on 13 early, and get some feedback from him. So, Buddha, good evening. I'm sure you're disappointed.
Good evening. Yeah, you can say that.
So what happened? That was turn 13 that you went out. What happened? You hit the barrier on the left and then coasted over to the right?
Well, I think I'll leave that one to the judges. But it has something to do with my teammate.
There. Yeah, so bit of an incident, Renault on Renault then we're potentially looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sure that the judges will be looking at that to see what happened in regards to that incident. But what do you think of the race so far, Buddha? Because I mean, this really is, well, as always, it really is a fight to the end.
Yeah, well, it's been tough. You know, the qualifying's been tough in the rain. It's not something we expected, and I think in the dry we did all right.
Bass is coming in. Sorry to cut you short there, but Bass is now coming in. He's got a 9-second gap to Gamble, so he's going to be coming out potentially around about 14 seconds, 15 seconds behind.
Supersoft has got to be. Yep, he's doing exactly that.
So Gamble takes that third place. Now let's see what that
gap is. Going to be about 10 seconds. Going to be about 10 seconds, that surely. In fact, it'll be a lot more than that. Might be about 15. I think he might have done it a bit too late. I think we're going to be
looking around about 15 seconds. And it is 15.1. No, it's
more than that. It's got to be 16, 17, yeah.
16 seconds. So
and no disrespect to Nicky, but he's got a back marker as well.
Yeah, he's got Nicky there ahead of him, so he's going to have to get past Nicky as well. Although Nicky hopefully should just move over and let him through. But Gamble now has got a 17-second gap lead ahead of Bass, and we've only got 12 laps to go.
But he's made a big mistake by putting purple times in, though, because obviously he's going to be burning through those tyres absolutely recklessly. And with Baz now on a fresher set of Supersofts with a beautiful track now, nicely warmed up as Nicky lets him through, anything could happen.
So, what you're saying basically is, Gamble, ease off if you want to stay on that podium, my friend.
He has to just relax down a bit, but he should be okay.
Well, we are familiar with these McLaren drivers, and I'm sure Buddha will say as well. Buddha, what do you think? Do you think that Gamble's going to ease up? Do you think he's going to try and look after those tyres?
No.
Or do you think he's going to go hell for leather?
No. He's not going to. No, he's going to go wild. He's going to want to win this. He's not going to hold back.
I believe that just to put you in the picture here, and just to mention once again, we have been joined by Jota for the commentary this evening, which has been absolutely superb. Absolutely superb.
Yeah, I was listening to that. It was awesome. It's great to have you in.
No, thank you very much. No, please be a part with it, you guys at F1 tonight, and I'm obviously hoping you guys are all going to have some fantastic races coming up, such as this one. It's been absolutely amazing to watch.
It really has been a great race and a great introduction for you, Jota.
Yes, thank you very much.
From Synergy PWR. He's got a great league there, mainly based in the UK, for which he's finally been invited to co-commentate with him on a Wednesday night. So, big shout out to Synergy PWR, People's World Racing. And they race on a Wednesday night, and we're with F1 tonight, who race on a Thursday night, so this could be something good. So yeah, we've had a great race. It really has been absolutely superb. But I was going to say, just to let you in the picture, Jota, that the McLaren team are nicknamed the Wild Ones in F1 tonight, so I hope that sums it up for you.
Yes, I'll absolutely make note of that. To be fair, both drivers absolutely screaming ahead in the qualifying for sure. Bit shocked that Gamble has decided to absolutely rip into those super soft tyres, because I am a little bit concerned that he may start to struggle towards the end of the race and Baz may be able to keep up, because he is losing about 5/10 a lap, which means, let's put it in the maths here, that will be about 40 laps, so he'll be about 10 seconds ahead. 10 seconds ahead by lap 61, so he does need to find more pace, Baz.
He does need to find more pace, but the question is, as you rightly say, is can Gamble maintain this pace? Because ultimately, if he can't maintain this pace, he's going to drop off big time, which is going to allow
not with the lap times he's doing at the moment. Not with the lap times at the moment. He's doing 43.0s at the moment, and with the lap times such as that at the moment on this heat of tarmac, those tyres are going to be degrading really quickly. So personally, I think he should just be a bit more lifty and coasty through the corners. However, it's all down to him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I say, because potentially if he's risking that third place on the podium, really.
Well, I think it is for him, his to lose at the moment, but obviously the last thing he wants to do is burn through those tyres with Baz on a fresh set of super softs that'd last, as we've seen quite clearly through Michael's run, about 30 laps before they become awfully slow.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it here now. If Gamble carries on the way he is, he's going to be really, really starting to struggle with 11 laps to go.
Well, let's keep an eye on that, because that certainly is interesting. Michael now is in 6th place. He's on a set of ultra softs, but he's 11 seconds behind Slacky. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with regards to that. And Slacky is on a set of super softs. Certainly going to close the gap down on Bass. So we're still looking at a really tight run here between Gamble and Savage. But Stoner, well, let's have a quick look at Stoner, our race leader. He's 29 seconds ahead of Savage in the McLaren. Let's have a look at those tyres. They're still looking good. I don't think he's got any problems there.
Yeah, he got Baz F1 tonight, currently gaining on Gamble by 1.4 seconds. So 1.5 seconds, we'll call it. Puts him about 7 laps in, so about lap 58, he will be up the trumpet of Gamble.
Indeed.
So he is at the pace to be able to catch up to Gamble with about 4 laps to go. So if he keeps at it, we could have a battle for the final spot on the podium.
Wow. Yeah. That is certainly going to be something to watch out for. And it ain't going to take too long. So they're closing down at this moment in time. And just to start to put some idea of potential gains here, we were talking earlier that Stoner is currently 3rd in the Drivers' Championship on 165 points. Now, obviously, with those 25 points, that'll take him up to 190, overtaking Bo, who's currently in 2nd place, Ferrari driver, who isn't racing this evening. But more importantly, is that Bass won't be getting, what will he be getting if he's...
he'll be getting 12 points, so that'll put him on to, if he stays in 4th at the moment, he'll be getting 12 points, which will put him on 206.
Yeah. So
it'll be pretty close.
Really close down. That's really going to be close. And to Bo as well. So the Haas driver is going to break up the 1-2 of Ford Ferrari in the Drivers' Championship, potentially, if we keep these places.
One thing to keep an eye out on as well, though, is obviously 15 points will go to Gamble, so that'll put him on 135. So with Bo losing points by not showing up, he could be losing potentially 3rd place in the table if Gamble keeps putting in performances such as what he's doing right now.
Absolutely, yeah, because he'll certainly close the gap down. It'll only be, where are we now? About 30 points. So, yeah, this is certainly proving to be interesting. We're going to see how this pans out, but Bass at this moment in time is certainly closing down that gap to Gamble. That gap that Gamble to Savage is opening up. I think we're looking pretty safe at this moment in time if we stay the way we are. Lap 52, 9 laps to go. So Stoner's looking safe for 1st place. Savage looking safe at this moment in time for 2nd. Gamble, well, he's starting to look a little bit rocky for that 3rd place.
Told him not to burn those tyres out, and he's burning through them, and now he's going to start to feel the pain. We're on lap 52. He's losing so much time. He's lost about 2 seconds on his fastest lap. Those rear tyres are spinning. He really needs to calm down on those tyres, but the problem is with him losing so much time on the guy behind, his rear tyre again. He's sliding all over the place. The amount of grip, he's struggling now on those super softs.
Yep. And as I said, Gamble does tend to run with a lower downforce anyway.
So in that last lap, Gamble managed to do a 43.4. Be interesting to see what Baz is going to do as he crosses turn 23 into 24. See what his lap times are doing. He's doing 42.1s. He's still about 1.5 seconds gaining on Gamble at the moment, which means, it's going to be about lap 58 maybe, if it does happen, assuming that there's no incidents. So looking like we could potentially have a good battle on.
Assuming there's no incidents or no rain.
Yeah, I can't imagine that there's going to be any rain at this point.
I'm praying for that rain. I really want some rain, please.
I'd love to see a bit of rain, mix it up a little bit, but I can't imagine with some drivers doing 4-stop strategies. I think Buddy, your teammate Slacky, doing a 4-stop strategy. Him managing to get up to 5th place, 1 place above where he started, so he's looking like possibly getting a pretty good place considering his pit stop strategy, ultra aggressive.
Well, yeah, last year he tended to be 2nd, but he got knocked off by somebody. So it's his track, and the wet was kind of a surprise, the wet qualifying, so that put him back a bit. He's definitely got the potential to go onto the podium, because he's fast enough.
So it's just a bit disappointing he decided to go for a 4-stop strategy in that case. Then obviously his ultra aggressive may have not worked fully, but I think for considering his qualifying position, he should be very happy with 5th at the moment. Still keeping a firm eye at the moment on Baz and Gamble though.
Yes, and that is the one that we're holding our breath for, I think. And you can see that, I mean, look at that gap, it's already gone down to 12 seconds. It was 14, it's down to 12 now. I think he's taken 2 seconds out on that lap, more or less.
Keeping a firm eye on it at the moment. He has taken another 1.5 seconds out of him. So yeah, there is definitely potential there. And remember, obviously Gamble's tyre burning earlier may or may not have really worsened his tyre degradation. You see, he mentions he's on a low downforce setup, which means those tyres are having to work harder to keep that grip on the tarmac. Gamble is really going to start to struggle if he carries on the way he is.
Well, we will keep a close eye on that for sure. So
another bit of a battle going on at the moment for 8th and 9th though. Slim only 5 seconds behind Nicky.
Slim's closing down, but 5 seconds, that's going to be interesting, because it's going to be getting to him pretty soon, because Nicky's running on a set of super softs. Slim opposed to a set of ultra softs. So
the tyre degradation though on that set of super softs on Nicky's car is starting to show. If you look on the front left and front right, you see that little line on the inside, so you can clearly see there's some degradation on that super soft tyre. Those ultra softs also having a bit of deg as well, but it still will be a faster tyre, so keep a firm eye on the place for 8th.
That's going to be interesting to see what happens there, because there is a potential there for Slim to take 8th place from Nicky in the Force India. So, got a couple of fights going on here, so we're in
Gamble's
the closing
responding,
stages.
He's getting faster. He's doing a 42.9 now, Gamble. He's trying to respond.
Oh, that gap's now down to 10 seconds. Let's see what it is over the line.
Oh, it's another 1.5 seconds.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep. 10.6 seconds the gap now. So he is really closing down on Gamble now.
I have a feeling that Gamble's trying to push now, because he was doing 43.7s earlier. He's now in that last lap he did a 42.9, but Baz is clearly responding by pushing his foot down as well. He can afford to do it, Gamble can't. But in order for him to not pass an up, he's going to end up closing that gap anyway. So like Gamble caused a rock and a hard place earlier with Slacky, he's now in a bit of a rock and a hard place himself. It's a bit of a tricky one.
Well, we will see what happens. It's certainly going to be a fight. I think we're going to certainly see a fight for that 3rd place within the closing stages of this race, whichever way. And that's certainly going to be interesting, because there is no love lost at all between the Ferrari and McLaren. McLaren have really been in the mix throughout this season. They've done some
Gamble's got a back marker to deal with as well.
So Slim pitted, so that opportunity for 8th place is pretty much gone. So yeah, there is no love lost between these teams, and Bass is, I'm sure, been driving at least half of this race with gritted teeth. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. That gap to Gamble to Savage has just opened up, really has opened up now. But Gamble's now hitting a back marker. So,
yeah, Gamble's got a bit of a back marker, but Martin should let him through.
He's just moved him straight through, waved him straight through there.
I am a tad worried at the moment. I'm looking at the lap times at the moment, and Baz is now starting to lose on that gaining. He's now only about 0.8 of a second faster than Gamble is only, 0.8 of a second slower than Baz. But Gamble is now, I have a feeling, pushing on those super soft tyres now.
That's to say, but can Gamble maintain that for the next 5 laps? Savage is set the fastest lap, 140.8.
I think it might be plausible. No, I think it might be plausible. I think if it carries on the way it is, Baz is going to be about 5 seconds behind Gamble. He's not fast enough. Baz needs to be even faster.
It is somewhere on that right-hand tyre, certainly on the inside. So, This tyre's not looking too bad at all. They're looking pretty clean. Wow, okay. But that gap is opening up again. See, look at this. Gamble to Savage. It's now 53 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think Gamble's got to worry about Savage. Remember, Savage is now setting purple times. I think Gamble can't really worry about his teammate. He's got to be worried about potentially...
What I'm thinking is that how he's losing time, because Savage is setting in some blistering times. He's losing time, but I'm just looking at that. Is that potentially... Because, I mean, Bass is now 8.7 seconds. We've still got 5 laps to go. There is still the potential there for that gap to close.
It depends how the tyre degradation is on Gamble's tyres. We obviously don't see the percentages here, but you can just clearly see visually the actual degradation on the tyres compared to Gamble and Baz. And you can see that there's a... I think, I'm not sure, if you look on the inside, you can definitely see a start of some potential blistering.
Inside right. Yeah, there is definitely on the inside right of Gamble's, and Bass's are looking pretty clean. But I'm just thinking, you know, can he maintain this? Now, we've only got 4 laps to go. All he needs to do really is, well, he could even back off that pace a little bit. He can afford to do that now a little.
He can afford to back off a little bit, but Baz has obviously got to be gaining at this moment in time at least 2.5 seconds. On the last lap, he was only doing about a second, so he's not fast enough. Baz is not fast enough.
It's just not enough.
Just take it home. That's all Gamble needs to do.
Yeah. So seeing Bass now come round turn 13. He's currently 8 seconds behind Gamble, 3rd place Gamble. Was looking pretty dangerous for Gamble as to was looking a bit dangerous to Gamble as to whether Bass would actually catch up with him, but it looks like he's pretty safe now, so he's in the safe zone. So that does mean that Stoner will certainly not only break up the 1-2 of the current Drivers' Championship for the Ferrari drivers, but will also close down quite respectfully, probably around about 10 points to Bass, the current drivers' leader. So that's a great result for Stoner, without any doubt. Savage and Gamble certainly taking some great points for them as well. And if we look at the team battle, that will certainly help them with regards to that, and they could close that gap to Haas, although they'll still be around about 30 points behind in the team championship, but they will close that gap respectively. Slacky in Renault is currently in 5th place. He'll be taking home some respectable points for Team Renault. Then we have Michael, who is in 6th place, but you know, Michael's really, he has put in a pretty good race, to be fair.
Yeah, as we were talking earlier to Buddha, he did actually go a little bit wide and ended up having to take an escape road, which allowed Slacky to take 5th place. So actually Michael had 5th place at one point. So considering that he did I think he did a one-stop strategy actually.
It's only a one-stop, I'm just checking it now, it's one stop. So he went on the super softs, I think it was lap... Oh, was it lap 38,
it went onto the super...
Like
it went onto the ultra softs around lap 35. So he has actually come in. He has actually been on those ultra softs now for well over 20 laps, and you can see the clear tyre degradation. Michael, clearly a driver who likes to take his tyres to the absolute end, and the one-stop strategy might have just worked for him. 6th place is not bad going.
It's not bad going, but the other thing is as well, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking he could actually afford to do a 2-stop and safely maintain that 6th place.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity if he wants to take a fastest lap. I'm not too sure whether F1 tonight does do a point for fastest lap, and if not, then I'm sure a moral victory would be lovely to take fastest lap for sure.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think there is. No, there isn't. So he won't.
Just tomorrow
that, so he's got potential to do that if he wanted to. Martin in the Toro Rosso is in 7th place. Nicky in the Force India is in 8th place, and Slim Shamy is bringing up 9th place in the Williams. DNFs, we have Grim for Red Bull, Buddha for Renault, Miguel for Toro Rosso, John for Haas, unfortunately, who kicked off the DNFs for us this evening, and Phenomenon, unfortunately, disqualified there to issues on track safety. We're with Stoner. We're on lap 59 of 61. This is F1 Tonight 2017 Season 3 Singapore, and what a race it has been. It started with a qualifying. We had wet qualifying. We had a McLaren front row followed by Haas and Ferrari. We had an incident in turn 1 which really ripped apart the midfield, and then we had an issue with John and the Haas going out. I think it was what turn was it? Turn 7 I think it was, 8. No, turn 14. Sorry, and it caused an issue with a number of other drivers, so that put back Gamble, and Savage also had an issue as well with another incident. So it really has been quite mixed. We've seen them come back now. So Savage has come up to 3rd place. Savage come up to 2nd place. Gamble's come up to 3rd. Bass, though, to be fair, hasn't done too badly at all, because his qualifying was absolutely horrendous. And if I have a look here, see his position changes, he's moved up 4 places. So he actually started in 8th place, so moved up to 4th. So not too bad a show at all.
Got to remember as well, Baz was obviously on a one-stop strategy originally and had to come in after getting a wing change. So if you do take the fact that he would have had 2 stops less, he would have been about 50 seconds in front, which means he would have been about 6 seconds. Apologies, no, sorry, he would have been about, well, put it this way, he'd have been battling for first potentially.
Yeah, potentially he would have been. So his strategy went horribly wrong for him. But he's keeping in there. He did potentially, you know, we were looking at whether he could push for 3rd place, but we're on lap 60 now.
Unfortunately.
Gamble's pretty safe.
Unfortunately, a couple of laps ago, unfortunately, Baz was only gaining 4 tenths on Gamble. It was a 2.5 seconds, so obviously the tyre degradation has started to kick in for Baz with the having to push on those tyres. Much like Gamble, who's now just taking it home. But you can clearly see now, with talking of degradation, the clear visible marks on that front right tyre, as you mentioned. So we are starting 2 laps to go. Yeah, it's definitely Gamble's to lose, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's down to 4 seconds, but I can't see unless Gamble really makes a turn or gets it wrong. I can't see Bass taking that 3rd place from him at this moment in time.
Nah, he needs to pull out 5 seconds out somewhere with the final lap now, and I just can't see it happening.
No. So that will, as I said, give the McLaren drivers some valuable points in this championship. But Haas, undoubtedly, Stoner, I think he will be grinning ear to ear. I think when he gets that checkered flag.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think Stoner's done a cracking job in the Haas today, and I think he controlled the race. He's kept his own. Obviously, still coming round on lap 61. Like I say, anything could happen, but it'd be very, very unfortunate for him to lose out on this win after controlling the race so well. It closes up in the championship if he does take it. 190, taking Bo F1 Tonight's 2nd place in the position, and with Baz's unfortunate incident in him losing his front wing, taking 4th place at the moment, he'll be on 206.
Of course. Yeah, because he had the collision with the. That's what it was. It was the collision with the Renault, wasn't it, on the back wheel?
Yeah, and unfortunately with that he had to come into the pits and change onto a set of Ultra Softs, which then obviously got Gamble an advantage, and to stimulate that advantage was in fact 3 seconds.
Giving us a nice illustration at the moment of F1 drifting. Not very often you see it, but he certainly does it very well. And Stoner's coming round now. Turn 23 to take the F1 Tonight 2017 Season 3 Singapore Grand Prix. Our winner, Stoner in the Haas. Fantastic job there from Stoner. Controlled the race all the way through. Maintained his strategy, maintained his pace. Great show there from Haas, and I'm sure he is a very, very happy man indeed. We now see second place Savage in McLaren, maintains his place, started second place on the grid. Had a few ups and downs during the course of this race, but wow, really has delivered. And so I'm sure another happy man there will be. And as we come round now with third place Savage, we will have points that, oh actually that's the point, yeah, we've got time penalties to come in. Ooh.
Nah, I've just seen Baz F1 Tonight unfortunately get a 3-second time penalty. He was pushing so hard he collided with the wall and cut a corner. So if with that's obviously a hefty disadvantage.
Time penalties as well. So taking that into account, it's only 2.4 seconds.
We'll have to see.
Well, we'll see what happens, but certainly at this moment in time, Gamble is third place and Bass in the Ferrari is fourth. But I know that Gamble had at least one penalty, so we'll see what happens there. The Gamble comes across the line. Bass comes across the line, and indeed Bass takes third place.
Absolutely no way. Oh, wow.
Oh, that is absolutely amazing. Bass takes third place from Gamble, and it was all down to time penalties. Well, what a way to finish the F1 Tonight 2017 Season 3 Singapore Grand Prix. Jota, I hope you've enjoyed it this evening.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic race. Been very good tactically, very good racing, and overall a fantastic result for Stoner. I'm hoping I can be with you next week, because definitely enjoying viewing.
Yeah, great. Yeah, we'd certainly welcome you. We certainly look forward to that. So, Stoner, Paul Haas, our race winner. McLaren, Savage comes in second, and Bass for Ferrari comes in third. There we have it. And what was the difference? Oh my God. 0.6 of a second. Fourth place. So there we have it. Mercedes comes in fifth. Michael Slacky sixth for Renault. 7 Toro Rosso. Martin Nicky for Force India comes in eighth. 9 comes Slim Shamey. And the others were DNFs. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Catch us on YouTube. Catch us on, well, where we are now, and then on Twitch as well. And we look forward to seeing you next week. And Jot will be joining us as well for Coke. Thank you very much. We've enjoyed it. Good night.